All right, here we go. Gilbert Arenas, welcome back to VladTV.
What's up? What's up? Thank you for having me.
Congrats on your show, by the way, man. You've been killing it.
Oh, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Been working hard.
I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it, man. You know, this is from the man who says he never wants to do interviews when I first met him.
Yeah.
To totally doing a 180.
Yeah.
And now actually does interviews for a living.
Yeah, no, you're right. At that point in time, I was, just retiring, trying to figure out what I was going to do next. But
yeah,
now I got it.
Let's talk about what's happening right now.
Okay.
So, Boston Celtics, 18th championship. They passed up the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
Were you surprised? Did you expect this to happen?
No, I mean, the way their team has been tracking for the last few years, then, you can see that they were going to win a championship within the next 1, 2, 3 years.
Okay. Do you feel that they're the greatest franchise of all time?
Come again?
Do you feel like they're the greatest franchise of all time?
No.
No. Well, Stephen A.
For one,
Smith
I'm
said
a
this.
Laker fan.
Okay, we all are.
So,
Living in LA, you have to be in a way.
So, yes, the Lakers is the best franchise
Okay.
in sports history. Well, not sports history, basketball history.
Okay. But, there is an argument now for the Celtics.
Well, it's okay. Listen, if we're just gonna be real, 95% of their championships came from a time where they were playing AAU schedules. You know what I mean? They have AAU schedules back then. It was 3, 4 black people in the whole league at that moment in time. So. Come on, if you're sitting there talking about, we're the best franchise, but you only won since 80s when the NBA merged with the ABA.
Yeah.
You've only won, what, 5 championships since then?
Okay.
That's hard. He was tied with Golden State just last year.
Okay.
Right,
Fair enough.
Fair
enough. So you would say the Lakers, when you talk about the modern era.
Since the NBA is merged.
Yeah.
Since the NBA has merged, Los Angeles Lakers has been the best basketball franchise.
Okay,
Yeah,
fair enough.
When the NBA, didn't really allow black people, Boston.
The whitest team ever of that era.
Boston was the shit.
With Larry Bird, of course, being the poster boy.
Larry Bird came in the 80s.
Oh, you're talking about the 70s and the 60s?
The 60s and 50s and all of that. Yeah, that's
okay.
That's,
all right, you're right. There were no black people.
The merger came in.
People had day jobs at the time, in the off-season. They would go back to
Larry
work.
Bird got 3. Then Paul Pierce and KG them. And then, Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Those are the 5 since the NBA is established as what we see today.
Well, speaking of Jaylen Brown, he won the Finals MVP over Jayson Tatum. Well-deserved or no?
Yes. I was going back and forth with that one because obviously what Jayson Tatum has brung throughout the playoffs, throughout the last, few years, he's the leader, the franchise guy. But what Jaylen Brown has done for himself and for the team, sacrificing, certain things for this team to move the way they do, being screwed out of a lot of accomplishments for the sacrificing that he's done. He deserved it, right? They owe him that. You're talking about a guy whose team was number 1 by 17 games, and he's the second best player, but he makes no All-NBA team. That's just disrespectful, right? So this is part of his legacy that gets to clean up some of the things they've been doing for the last 3 years with him. So.
Well, one of my members, Vincent Q21VQ, he said, how do you feel about this new era? Like when he watched the finals, all he saw were 3-point attempts. It was honestly just ridiculous. There'd be no reason to shoot a 3, but both teams were doing it back to back, missing like crazy. Just sad.
Oh, no facts. Trash finals. Trash. It's not even shooting. Okay, I understand Dallas shooting 3s, right? Luka, did what he can do. He attacked. But Boston, I know your what you did all season was shoot 3s, but your team is so big, right? You're so athletic, and to sit there and shoot 15, 16 threes in a row, when you can just drive to the basket, no one can stop you.
Yeah.
And when Jaylen Brown did do that, like, yo, no one's back. Oh, no one can block me. It's Kyrie back here or Luka in the back end. So obviously they can't block my shot. The game was over. Like, it should have been 4-0, but it should have been like 30-point blowouts because there was no interior defense for Dallas didn't have no interior defense, so you were just bailing them out, just chucking threes the whole time, and it didn't look good.
I mean, do you think that's just the way the NBA is sort of moving with the whole Steph Curry effect and everything, where it just seems like everyone's shooting threes more often? I remember when I saw the Clippers play Sacramento, it was just like 3 after 3, but it'd be like miss after miss after miss. You see what I'm saying? I just feel like the game is different now.
Yeah, when you talk about analytics, it's no different than anything in life. We do analytics and algorithm off the best when we're not the best.
Right. Not everyone's Curry.
Right? You're doing an algorithm on shooting threes, and you have the best shooter of all time, the second best shooter of all time, and then Kevin Durant, one of the best scorers of all time, who can also shoot three. You're going to tell us that this is who we should copy?
Yeah.
That is insane. Like, as a team, as a general manager, as a coach, you should be looking at the person who brings you these stats and say, why do you still have a job? I don't have these type of. That's like me doing an algorithm with my page off of your page.
Yeah.
I'm a complete idiot if I do that. It's failure.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there trying to do like Vlad. And I look like an idiot. Like, no, that's the top of the top is they can do it because that's who they are. You have to run an algorithm on how your team performs for you to get the best results. And that's why Denver won last year. They wasn't sitting there shooting a bunch of threes and chucking a bunch. They played to their game, right? Unfortunately, Boston trying to play Golden State style, they just had a very talented team. But they was underplaying themselves. If they used the athleticism to attack, like nobody was back there, you could have really did some damage. But, you can't take anything away from them. It's just that they were handicapping themselves, with trying to play a style that's really not meant for them.
I mean, do you think that Kyrie's could get another ring? Because he's always like right there. He's always right there, but he hasn't had a ring since 2016 with the Cavs.
Yeah. I don't know if his legacy is to win another ring. I think his legacy is to really just play the game the right way, show people that, he's one of the best. He loves this game. He puts everything into it. He appreciates it. He understands it. And I think that's the way he's finishing off his career. When you get to a certain age in life, it's more about the purity of the game. And I think that's where he's at, right? I know he's happy that he got back there, and it's been a while since he was there. I watched him, last 2 weeks ago, and he was already back playing full court, right? You just finished 10 days ago, and you're back in the gym, right? Because he was like, I don't know if I should take a break or keep going, right? It's like, well, might as well just stay in shape a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? And, but, those guys love the grind, man. So his legacy is not built on if he wins another championship. It's already cemented.
Well, Jayson Tatum signs a 5-year, $314 million extension with the Celtics. The highest NBA contract of all time. Now, a lot of this is sort of based on the timing, right? Because you can't necessarily say that he's the best player in the league, but salaries have been going up, and it's time for him to re-up. So, there's other players like Luka and AE, they could probably get the same kind of contract.
They'll get more.
They'll get more. Exactly. I mean, were you surprised he got that much?
No. He's a max player. Max players are going to get the max contract, right? There's stipulations that, if you make 2 all-NBA teams, you can get the supermax. So whoever's in that position to get the supermax, their number is going to be maxed out, right? He's been in the league long enough where this is his max. When Luka and Ant-Man are up, their max is going to be about 360, 330, 340. So it's just going to go up every year, right? So there's going to be a new guy next year and a new guy after that the following year.
Yeah.
That's just the way the contracts are.
Yeah, I mean, John Morant would be up there without the gun issues.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think in our lifetime we'll see billion-dollar NBA contracts? Because it's 5 years the maximum you can go. Can you do a 10-year contract?
So what they've been doing, so when I came in, it was 7-year deals. Right? So they've been taking years off. See, they've never cared about how much you make per year. It's how long they're paying you. So they don't want guys sitting on a contract signing a 7-year deal and then they're good the first year, then horrible 5 years, and then perform that last year to get a new contract, right? The old hustle. So they've been shortening the years. So, it's 5 years, and then if you leave 4 years, LeBron has been on 2-year, 3-year deals.
Yeah.
He never locks himself in, right? So he does the opposite of players. He's more like what the NBA wants to do. 3-year, 4-year, 2-year type deals, right? So, 5 years, 4 years is going to be the max. And most likely, it could go down to 4 to 3. They've been pushing for 3 to 4 for a long time now, but it's been steady around 4 or 5.
All right, because when you left the NBA, how many years did you have left on your contract?
So I had 3 years left.
Okay, and you signed what, a 5?
6.
Aha.
6 years,
You signed
111.
111.
Uh-huh.
So you played for 3, and you had
3, and then I had 3 years
3
left.
that you
And then
basically...
they extended those 3 years to 3 years.
So 6 years?
Yeah, so it ended up being I got my last NBA dollar 2016.
And you left 2010?
11.
11.
Yeah.
So for 5 years,
Yeah.
you got to just sit around on your couch. Because you were one of the highest paid players that wasn't actually even playing.
Mm-hmm.
That was wild.
Yeah, but listen, and this is the weirdest thing that just people don't really, they look at the athlete more than the owner, right? I didn't sign my contract, right? So, when we sit here and complain about people's money, remember someone's giving them that, right? It's the value to that person. You don't know what that person's done to get that. You don't know how long I sit into a gym, right? This is like an employee, right? He might not be the best at what he's doing, but he's showing you that he won't quit, he won't stop, he's going to keep going, right? And you're willing to put money into that person, right? So it's not always about the numbers that you see.
It's potential.
Potential or
Yeah.
what he does when no one's watching.
Man, listen, I'm happy you got it.
No, I'm just saying.
I'm happy. I'm not downing your position. You're my man. I'm glad you got to sit around and get that money.
But that's when people say.
But you earned it, is what I'm saying.
No. I earned every dollar
exactly.
of it. Right? I was even offered 127. I took 111.
Damn.
Hey, 127 is yours. Do what you want with it. And
$127
yeah, and
million.
I left $16 million on the table so we can keep improving the team.
Huh.
Right? So, I'm pretty sure that was one of the highest pay. That's still probably one of the biggest pay cuts in NBA history. When it comes to just on the same franchise leaving money on the table. I know Kevin Garnett left 5. The big 3, Wade, Bron, and Bosh, I think they left $2 million each for Haslam.
Wait, doesn't LeBron do this all the time though?
Leave money. It's hard because you don't know what he's right. He'll leave a full year or that doesn't count.
Yeah.
Right. You're talking about here. This is what you have, and you take he was willing to take $20 million less.
That's what I'm saying.
But they didn't do it because I don't think they knew how to spend the money.
Aha.
So.
Well, speaking of LeBron James, Bronny James has been drafted as the 55th overall pick to the LA Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
No one's really that surprised.
No.
Everyone saw it coming. First father and son NBA First father and son in the NBA on the same team.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first father and son in the NBA, period, right?
Period. Yep.
And they happen to be on the same team.
Yep.
In all honesty,
Mm-hmm.
if the Lakers didn't pick him up,
Mm-hmm.
would another team have picked him up?
No. Okay. So, yes. People were trying. See, I don't know if anybody was listening, but people got mad at Rich Paul for calling teams to say, "Do not pick him. He will go to Australia."
Right.
Right. That means, right? You heard that.
I heard about that. Yeah.
Which means that before 55, people were trying to draft him, and he's saying if you do, he's going to go to Australia. So if it wasn't for Richie Paul, he probably would have got drafted in the 40s.
Okay. Explain that to me, because that kind of confused me. So you get drafted by the NBA,
Mm-hmm.
but you choose not to accept the contract and you go somewhere else instead?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you go out of the country, so it's not like
You can go over. Yeah, you can go over. A lot of Europeans do it all the time. What they do is in the middle of their negotiations, they enter their name in a draft, get drafted, and then now it's leverage against the team that they.
So they can get more money overseas because now they're
so
technically an NBA player.
Yeah, I'm an NBA player, so let's talk some turkey, right? You know, and that's what they can do. They can use that leverage against their ball club, because their ball club, you don't. What I need to pay you more? And I'm like, well, I just got drafted by Sacramento Kings. Oh, okay. And then they renegotiate. So a lot of teams do. A lot of players do it. That's overseas. A lot of I've never seen real American players do it. So he would have been the first. If you draft me, I'm out of here.
Okay, and he signed a 4-year, $7.9 million deal. So he gets about $2 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think he's going to pan out this year? I mean, they just played in the summer league. He scored 4 points.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no one. I think the problem is that because of his last name, people expect him to be a superstar as a 55th pick, which is not a realistic expectation. He's a 55th pick. Treat him like a 55th pick.
And that's what they don't want to do that. And that becomes the issue here. The issue is really not Bronny James being picked 55. It's not. It's father's mad. If you're a male and you're a father and you're mad, you're not mad that LeBron James, you're more mad that this father did something for his son that you didn't do for yours. So it's more your insecurity as a father than it is LeBron James, because fathers then passed on their businesses, their teams to their kids. No one says anything. So the fact that he used his leverage to get his son on the team is a problem. That's insecurities right there. Because if you're a real father, we have plumber, father and son plumbing, right?
Right.
You're trying to pass on, that's the point of fatherhood, right? To pass on to the next generation. So you want to put your kids in the best situation that they can. So me as the father, having my son on the team with me so I can teach him the ropes of this NBA, that's the gift I can give him. If he gets drafted by anybody, I don't know what that franchise is. I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know the players on that team that can put him in a whole different me. LeBron James, the father, the mogul, whatever, I can teach him the ropes straight from me. How to be a professional, how to be a leader, whatever. I get to instill it into him until I'm gone, and then from there, he does what he wants.
Well, I mean, your son just broke the California State Championship scoring record.
Mm-hmm.
Congrats, by the way. Big deal. Very big deal. What year is he?
He's going into his junior year.
Going to his junior year.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you talked about, because you can't go pro anymore. You got to do 1 year overseas now, right? Yeah. Have you talked about whether you're going to, if he's going to go to college, go overseas? Is that really a conversation yet or no?
No, right now it's loving the game, right? Falling in love with the game, understanding that you can't have it all. And he doesn't want to understand it. and he doesn't want to understand that you can't have all of it. You can't have certain relationships, certain friendships, party like a regular kid. You can't have it all if this is where you're trying to go. So you're going to have to sacrifice. So if you want to go there, there's things you got to sacrifice in life to get to that position. Right? Because if you don't sacrifice this, you're sacrificing that. Right? And he sees it, but he doesn't want to understand it. But it's not a decision you have to make now. Just understand that you have to get a great team around you. You got to get real friends around you who care about the same things you do. Because if they don't care about what you care about, then they're going to keep you away from it because they don't understand it. Right? So if they're not basketball fanatics and they're clubbers.
Yeah.
Then their whole job is to persuade you to go to there because they can't come to you. They can't go to this. So they can get you to go to there. So they're going to spend more time trying to pull you away from where you're trying to go. So you need to figure out who has the same dreams as you.
I mean, do you expect him to go pro?
With the talent he has, the height, the skills, yes.
He's how tall?
6'7.5".
Oh, okay. Wow. As a sophomore? Damn. So he's still growing.
Yeah.
How tall do you expect him to be?
I don't know. Right now, he's perfect height for a shooting guard. Right. Shooting guard, point guard.
Yeah, but if he keeps growing to because how tall are you?
I'm 6'4".
He's taller than you.
Oh no, yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
It's not even close.
Wow. I mean, listen, I'm significantly taller than both my parents, so it happens.
Yeah.
It definitely happens. You know what's interesting, though? I was talking about this with my assistant, Evan, this morning. Being a 7-footer, you could have questionable athletic ability and still play in the NBA, right? But now they have height surgery. You know about this, right?
I've heard.
You could actually put metal rods in your legs, and you potentially could get a foot in height. So imagine this. Imagine someone who's 6'5", and he's okay in college. Suddenly he gets surgery and he's 7'5".
Okay, but with that rod in your leg, are you still a basketball player?
Well, that's the question. That's the question. And you probably are going to lose some athletic ability, but is the height that makes up for it. Imagine a whole new era of essentially cyborg players that are coming in.
Yeah, it doesn't. When you have that surgery, like you still have to see, can they run? Can they still move the way they're supposed to move? Because if you're taking away the athleticism and just the basic skills of running, then it's pointless.
Okay.
Right? You know what I mean? It's even kids that gain a foot naturally, they don't have rhythm. It takes them a while to understand their new body. But what's going on now is people are dating better.
What do you mean?
They're dating for taller kids, right? So now you got guys who are, 6'5", 6'3" to 6'8". They're dating women that's 6 foot and over.
Yeah, I mean, LeVar Ball did that.
Yeah.
Specifically, we talked about it in our interview. He found a female athlete at his college who was tall. They had kids, and look.
Now, basketball is a game of length. I'm long and Tina long. So guess what? When they was playing flag football, I was just calling plays from the side. They got audibilized and was killing people. They was playing guys that were 10, 11 years old, and they was only 6 and 7. But they can catch, and they can throw, and they're very smart. So I give them 3 plays, and they audibilized. They thought we was cheating in the little flag football league. But in basketball, you could be 6 or 7 years old playing against guys that's 13, 14. If you know how to shoot and your mind is good, smart. I had my boys playing at such a fast pace when they was young. When Lonzo was 3rd grade, Jello 2nd, and Melo was kindergarten. We was beating up on 7th and 8th graders because we was playing so fast and shooting threes and pressing the whole time. So my boys never got tired. I got tapes of that thing where they was just murdering everybody, and they always played up so high.
Yep.
2 of them were top 3 picks in the NBA. One of them is kind of,
and it's not like he wasn't good enough. He was out of position.
Who? LiAngelo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that Jello was just out of position. That was it. It wasn't that, I think what happened was he got LeVar's body style. So growing up, he probably grew faster and it was stronger. So they said, all right, you're going to be the big man.
Yeah, he actually said that he felt like Jello was the best one.
Yeah.
For a while.
He was the big man on the team, not realizing that all 3 of them are guards.
Yeah.
So if Jello would have been a guard and played guard and had his guard skills, now you're talking about a guy who's his size with the handles of LaMelo and all of that. He would have been the stronger version of it. See, but because he was bigger in size, he got to play bully ball as a youth and didn't realize, well, you're not going to grow to 6'9", 6'10".
Yeah.
You're going to be about 6'3", 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah.
Let's work on this handles.
Yeah.
So that was just, miscalculation on that part. But the skills was already there.
Yeah. Well, LeBron re-signs with the Lakers, 2 years, $104 million.
Mm-hmm.
But, you talked about this, how, LeBron essentially failed his offseason challenge. They tried to put together a team, a championship team, and ultimately didn't do it. Because, DeMar DeRozan was supposed to come to the Lakers.
Yeah,
that was the rumor.
Oh, my man.
That was the rumor, right? I know DeMar. I was like, oh, shit, he coming to the Lakers. Great. Nope, not great. He just signed to the Kings. $74 million, 3 years. What do you think of that trade?
I mean, as a Laker fan, disappointed because we had hope that would have fed our delusion of winning the championship next year.
Yeah.
But I'm happy for DeMar. You know what I mean? He's close enough. He's back in California.
Back in California.
He's close enough, but it's as just a fan, whatever makes him happy as a player, you got to root for it. But I wish he was a Laker. I do.
What did you think about DeMar making the cameo in the Kendrick Lamar "Not Like Us" music video?
I know that was a difficult thing for him
Because of the Drake thing?
because he's been
Toronto.
He's been Toronto this whole time. Him and Drake
Yeah.
got
In
a great
fact, I remember
relationship.
I rewatched this interview. He was on Shannon Sharp's show, and he talked about his friendship with Drake and how Drake really extended his hand to him and how they were actually real friends.
Yeah,
He was in Toronto and everything else like that. But it's not like he was in the video dissing Drake.
No, it was one of those things where you're a double-edged sword here,
Yeah.
right? It's one, real friendship, one, your city.
Right, because he grew up in Compton.
Yeah. So, you know what I mean? That's you can't go no matter where you stand, it's really Compton, and if you're not for Compton, then it's forget the song. It's are you with Compton or not?
Well, yeah, but he was on stage during the pop-out show also.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. None of it. I don't look at none of it as I'm against Drake.
Right.
It just it's idiotic thinking, to be honest, when you say pick a side.
Right.
What the fuck I need to pick? I like both.
Right. It's not like he did a verse.
No.
Dissing Drake
I like
or anything else
both.
like that.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I like both guys. I'm not gonna pick a side. I'm not for. Right? I like vanilla ice cream and chocolate. I like to put the shits together sometimes. You're not gonna tell me to pick one and I gotta like it forever. No, that's not how we do.
Well, what if Drake does a new diss song against Kendrick and he asks DeMar to be in that music video? That might be a tough decision. It might be a tough decision.
But me, I'm going in both.
Yeah?
I like both.
So you do both?
I like both. What the fuck? Oh, shit. It's people getting mad that I remember when I was a child and I was a Penny Hardaway fan. I was an Orlando fan.
Yeah.
Penny Hardaway, just die hard, right?
You said you had every sneaker, but you never
Every
wore them?
sneaker, yeah,
You never wore them?
no.
So you just put them up in the closet and just...
So I had.
Talk about the phone posits, right?
Yeah, the phone posits. So him and Penny have a fallout. Boom. And then I'm hating Shaq, right? Even though I was just have this big old Shaq mural. Just it was the big life size, so it filled up the whole wall, and then it was just Penny all the way around, right? And then it was like, now I gotta hate the guy. I can't remove the picture. And then I'm just sitting there and like, why can't I just like them both? I just like them both.
Yeah.
Right. So I went to school and was like, hey, I like both of them. Right. The war is over, and then I became an LA fan. So I'm one of those dudes that if I like both, they're not gonna make me pick.
Yeah, it just seems to me, and I've had arguments about this with various people. Like, when it came down to it, right? When it came down to the Drake and Kendrick battle, everyone essentially supported Kendrick in different ways. Mm-hmm. Like, you look at the Pop-Out show, everyone was on stage with him. Every rapper, even people like YG, who Drake has done verses with, and, SZA showed up in disguise, and, everything else like that. But when you look at all the people that Drake has helped over the years, Drake did so many features for free to underground rappers who ended up becoming millionaires. Migos. Migos may have had to go back to 9-to-5 jobs if it wasn't for Drake. I was right there in Atlanta, 2013. Coach K, as a favor, asked me to interview this new group he had called Migos. He promised me a Gucci Mane interview, which never happened. And I knew nothing about them because they were just locally popular in Atlanta. Drake shows up a couple days later because they performed, they did like a little opening set at Birthday Bash. And Drake was like, oh, I like that Versace song. He jumped on it. Versace became their first hit. They never looked back. Black Boy JB, same kind of thing. Drake was working with Tay Keith. And I interviewed Black Boy. They basically gave him that song and said, jump on it. And then after it was done, Drake said, here, you can have the song. I'll just be the feature. It goes on, a Young Blue. It goes on and on and on and on. All these people that he helped out, that they benefited way more. They're like, oh, no, Drake was catching the wave too. Yes, Drake benefited somewhat, but they benefited way more than Drake. Nobody said anything in support of him on any level. You see what I'm saying? On any level, did none of these guys support him in any way, whereas I feel like with Kendrick, like all of hip-hop came in to support him and kind of do this dance on Drake's grave in a certain type of way. Like,
you can look at it too. Before I answer that, I want you to, just so you understand how I look at stuff. All right, so look, so you can read it on camera. So my top 10 songs. So so this is most listened to ever. Okay. Just so you can see how much I listen to. So
okay, here we go. Like That. Kendrick, of course. Euphoria, Kendrick. Not Like Us, Kendrick. First Person Shooter. Drake and J. Cole. Family Matters, Drake. Push Ups, Drake. Lovin' on Me, Jack Harlow. And then it kind of, falls off after that in terms of Michael Jackson and everything.
No, but that's top 10 ever. That's
Shorty Low, Chief Keef. I don't know who Melly Monaco is.
Melly Monaco, yeah. Yeah. So you can see that's ever.
Yeah.
Right? So you can see, top threes. Yeah, right. This is all recent stuff, so that means I listen to this a lot.
A lot of Kendrick.
For it to be in my top 10. I look at it like this. So that's why I say when I talk, I'm talking, I try to stay as even as possible. When the battle started, did anyone have anything to lose?
Well, I think when you're battling at that level, everyone has a lot to lose, yes.
Who was supposed to win this battle? From the beginning, right? From the beginning when these two were going to...
I actually thought Kendrick would win.
Okay, so Kendrick was going to win.
That's what I thought.
Okay, so...
Because I've always thought Kendrick is the most artistic, creative rapper. Drake has the most hit songs and popularity.
So
I've always felt that way.
So basically, Drake is fighting the battle he can't win, right? So
he can win.
So
he won against Meek Mill.
Yeah, but no one but no one said that was gonna be a good or bad. Like there was no predetermined victory. Like when
it came out of nowhere, though.
like when so when Kendrick first came out, right? We was like, oh shit, this about to be a battle. It's over for Drake. That's how it really looked. So I look at it like this. Did Kendrick disappoint?
No.
No. Did Drake disappoint?
Yes.
What did he disappoint in? Did we think he can go round and round and round and round in real time?
Yes.
Like he did?
Yes.
We knew he could?
I actually thought he could. And in fact, people forget how things developed because when push-ups came out, everyone's like, oh shit, okay, this is a hell of a diss song. He picks everyone apart. It was surgical. It was almost like a back-to-back. And then remember for a while, Kendrick didn't respond and everyone's like, it's over. A lot of people are saying it's over. Kendrick's not responding. It's done.
Yep.
And then Family Matters came out, which I thought was a great song. And then when Kendrick dropped Not Like Us, like 30 seconds later,
it kind of blew that one away.
Everything shifted. But for a long time, people were like, Drake won, Kendrick's not responding, it's done.
But what I'm saying is, did anybody expect Drake to keep fighting the way he did?
He had a lot of songs. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, but if we would have said this before any song came out, do you think Drake can hang? Nobody would have. So I look at it like one had 81, right? One had 81, 8 and 8. The other one had 65, 10 and 9. I can't say you a loser for that. You won. And you're right. You did something that a lot of people didn't think you were going to do. Nobody thought you was going to stand up to the boogeyman. You did. You lived. That's a victory. I don't give a shit what no one says. That's how I look at stuff, right? It's a person like if you're running a mile and your mile is 6 minutes and you run against me and I beat you, but you run a 5:30, you came in second, but you beat your personal time.
Yeah.
So you won. You just faced a dude that pushed you to be a little bit better than you were. I think this battle made both of them jump up a little bit more than they were before. No one can say Drake is not a battle rapper now.
But they've been saying it. I mean,
that he wasn't?
That he was. I mean, because he clearly beat Meek Mill. Back to back was a flawless victory.
Yeah, but Meek is a flawless victory because Meek, did Meek even respond?
Yeah. Meek had a response record that got pulled off because it was...
I'm out.
Well, because it was using, because he used like one of Drake's reference tracks or something like that.
Yeah, but this is like, I just...
Meek Mill, I think, is... Listen, people want to hate on him all he wants, but most people think that Meek Mill is a very talented rapper, me included. I think Meek Mill's dope.
But I can't go off of just one or two songs. I get to judge it now off of 5-6 songs that was in a 2-week span. That's right. So I look at it like that, and to me, both of them didn't disappoint. Like you can say I'm gonna give you the victory and you're a loser. Like, but are you?
Look, Not Like Us has like 5 times the streams of Family Matters, and I just kind of feel like hip hop as a whole are sort of happy that Drake took a pronounced loss. Like, people are like, because he's been winning for so long. It's interesting. Like,
that's
it's
life.
A weird human mentality that I'm still haven't totally understood. Like, it's not like Drake hasn't earned a spot. It's not like some other rapper put him on there and has been helping him out all along. Like, yeah, I mean, Wayne helped him out in the beginning, but Drake has been holding his own for a good decade. And I feel like people want the top guy to lose, and they essentially dance on his grave when there appears to be some sort of loss. This. A lot of people are saying, oh, Drake is over now. I mean, Drake's not over, but he's not where he was a year ago.
I disagree.
Okay.
Like, we love greatness, and then we get tired of it.
Right.
And then we want new greatness.
Yeah.
Right? That's just life. It's for some reason, we get voters fatigue on what's great and what's not. Like, right? So we're ready to replace someone.
Always.
When someone says he's in the worst place, and the reason I say, because I'm a fan of just everyone, I can't say you're in a worse place when you were supposed to lose a fight and you went to the 12th round. You lost by decision. I don't know. Did you get knocked out? But you went there. You went to a place where probably people thought you was going to get your ass knocked out first round.
Yeah, no, I mean.
And that's how I look at it.
Not
So,
like us, it's a knockout.
is it?
It is. It
I-
is.
okay,
Oh, yeah.
I got a question.
It's an anthem. It's an anthem.
It's an anthem. Now-
yes, it's an anthem.
Who won the fight between David Haney and Ryan Garcia?
It's not David Haney. It's
Devin?
Devin Haney.
Devin
Yeah,
Haney.
yeah,
Haney.
Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia.
So who?
Well, it appeared that Ryan Garcia won until you saw. Well, number one, it was an exhibition fight because he was overweight.
Uh-huh.
Number two, it was found out that he had PEDs, so it was thrown out.
Okay.
Right.
So he doesn't get the win.
And now he's even thrown out of the whole boxing federation.
So
or the
my
whole rant,
question
yeah.
my question was this, was having a debate about when you set the records, because I do it like this. I treat it like rounds, right? Round. So no matter how big Not Like Us is, it's still a song in the round, right? No matter if it trumps it, it's still a song. That means he won this round. He gone first. Okay, cool, but it's still one round. So
It's also the final round, though.
but that's how I do. No, Drake responded with another one.
No, he did.
Yeah, he did.
No, he didn't.
He responded.
Oh, with the Heart Part 6?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But still respond, right?
That was so awful that people forget about it. That was
wasn't-
probably the worst song. No, the worst song I think was the Tupac AI thing, but this was definitely.
Yeah, I didn't even listen to that one.
This was almost neck and neck with being the worst song.
So
it was just
when I-
like apology after explanation. It was
So
awful.
when I look at it, right, and I say, all right, if we're gonna be technical, if we're gonna be technical about stuff, Meet the Grams was about him having a daughter, right?
Right, which wasn't true.
So does that song count still, or do you take that song off the board?
No, it's on the board. It just
But see,
wasn't a
but-
strong round.
But if it's not real, then how can it be part of the category still?
Well,
if it's not,
I mean, Not Like Us had a whole bunch of stuff that wasn't real.
then I'm getting to that one.
Like the whole pedophile thing wasn't real.
Like
yeah.
us. So if all these claims of being a pedophile, which is a strong part of this song, if it's not real, is the song technically disqualified in the final voting? Right? We get it, like Ryan Garcia whooped him. So by the public, he wins, right? But technically, does it count towards the technical victory? And I that's the question I asked.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean, and I see a valid angle on it. But Not Like Us has eclipsed the whole battle to such a degree, because even Euphoria, I thought was a great song.
That's the
Nobody
song.
talks about Euphoria anymore.
That's the song I love.
Yeah,
Right,
it was a great song.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was great. But no one talks about it. No
know,
one's
but-
really talking about push-ups anymore. It's
You-
really Family Matters and Not Like
because
Us.
this
Yeah.
last one was a club hit.
It was. And listen, I think the second verse to Family Matters was actually my favorite part of the battle in terms of musically.
Mm-hmm.
The way the beat and what he was saying was like, oh shit, like Drake is really, like he's doing his thing. But then Family, Not Like Us came out and it's like,
But that's what I'm saying. I always look at it like, okay, if it comes to a battle, if you're trying to vote it, how do we really vote? If
it's not a vote, it's really
Okay.
more of a feeling. It's really
Okay,
more
so
of
more-
a feeling. And clearly, when you look at clubs and parties around the world,
Admit a club.
everyone's partying to Not Like Us. I don't see any clubs and everyone's going crazy over Family
no,
Matters.
but that's called strategy also. It is a strategy, right? If you're beefing, I mean, you have to really think about the end game. And obviously you can see Kendrick thought about the end game. I don't know if he knew it was going to be this big. I'm pretty sure he had an idea because the song itself, you got kids dancing to claims of a pedophile.
Yeah.
Which means it's not the lyrics. It's not the lyrics that's pushing it. It's the movement of itself in the song and who it is.
Yeah.
So it's gonna go down as the biggest diss track ever.
Yeah, and the music video was very strategic.
You liked it?
I did like it. I did like. Well, I liked. Initially, it was like, but then when I went back and watched it again a few more times, I'm like, okay, I see what he's doing. Like, the whole claims that like his wife and him are on bad terms, and there's that scene of them like, crip walking with the kids. I thought was dope. He put DeMar in the video. That was strategic. He's doing push-ups. You know what I mean?
Okay, listen. I come from the era where the video, if you turn the volume off, the video matches. It gives you a visual of what the song's supposed to be.
Okay.
Right? I didn't think the video itself, like I stopped watching the videos because they started getting away from it. It seems like it went to producers and these outside sources to create the visual for the song that has nothing to do with the fucking song.
Right, but in this case, and him and Dave Free are both in the video because there's the whole claims that one of the babies is Dave Free.
That has nothing to do with this song. This song is called Not Like Us. There's lyrics to the song. So therefore, I don't give two shits about Dave Free being in the song itself. You're talking about these dudes are pedophile. Where is this in the video? I need to see fucking somebody that looked like Drake with a 69 God shirt and there's fucking kids running from him. Like, run for your life. I need to see fucking, like, I'm from that era where they mocked your ass in the video. Right, you remember Ice Cube? They're mocking him with the Jerry curl, doing this down the street. Like there was video.
No, they're mocking Ice Cube.
They're mocking Ice Cube.
They're mocking Eazy-E.
Easy. So like you had like shit that went into videos that what they were saying mocked this. So like him doing push-ups with bricks in the room. Why are you doing it? Have the fake Drake sitting in there like going into a prison cell and it says, cell block 1.
No, look, I liked the video. I didn't love it. I didn't think it was one of the greatest videos ever. I wouldn't put it in that category.
It seemed like it was Compton themed.
Yes.
But I get that. But this song is not about Compton. Right? So sitting around crip walking on every new avenue you get
Tams and everything.
But that's not what the song's about. The song is not about crip walking. The song's about what you put on these claims here. So I'm thinking this video is about to be like I'm about to get my laughed on. Like there's like FBI searching them. They put them on the registry and pop, pop, pop. Guilty. Like I'm thinking like that's where my mind went like, oh shit, this shit about to be funny. And we get to laugh while enjoying this song, but it just seemed more of a Compton based.
Okay, I'll give you that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
like Anaconda was about anacondas.
Right. It did not come down. Yeah, you wouldn't say that this is the greatest rap video, the greatest diss video of all time. You definitely can't say that. It did break the record for the most viewed rap video in 24 hours of all time.
No, listen, I'm pretty sure.
But the anticipation of it, obviously.
Like but that's what I'm saying. I'm coming from like when 50 Cent was battling Rick Ross. And he got the Mr. Was it Officer Ricky and all that stuff in there. Like I'm coming from when you beef, you had the puppet and doing that with the fat joke. Like I'm thinking you're gonna be mocking and all the funny stuff that goes into the video.
They had the pinata.
I had the pinata.
And then they had the owl. The owl in the cage at the end was clever.
But this is about pedophile, man. Like, you gotta have that 69 God shirt on, man, while he's trying to talk to kids. And, I don't give a shit, man. Make me laugh or something during the whole video.
Okay.
But it was, it's like, okay, we crip walking the whole time. All right. We could have went to YouTube. We could have went to YouTube crip walkers and inserted those. That's all I'm saying.
Well, back to basketball. I had Nick Young on here recently, and he called D'Lo a bitch. He said the Lakers brought the snitch back, and he let him down. And he's still with the Lakers. I know this is your man. But, you always keep it 100 when it comes to talking about him. How do you feel about D'Lo?
Well, he's a Laker still. So
yes.
D'Lo is a Laker god right now. I don't talk about like that whole situation. I remember back then, and that's what they did, right? You sitting there saying suspect shit, they recording you, and it's like this is a funny thing, right? It's you saying goofy shit and they're recording you. Say that again. And then, it's more kid shit. And then it got out to the internet, right?
I mean, was it ever found out what exactly happened and how it got leaked? Because I don't think that D'Lo did it on purpose, did he?
No.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Who cares? I think at this point, I mean, one, you're not with her no more. That's a good thing, right? You're married, you got wife and kids, and you had 2 kids.
Nick is married now.
Damn near.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're with your high school sweetheart again. So it all worked out on your behalf. Like every time you say this, Nick, like, oh, D'Lo did this, your girlfriend is like, well, hold on. So you regretting that he did that? So you can be with her?
That's actually a good point.
I mean, you can pull that on him.
No, you're right. You're right. You have to, it almost reminds me, people are going to get sick of me saying this, but when I was in my 20s, me and a friend of mine from college who was a former drug dealer, we went in on a kilo together. I put up all the money. Right, I put up $17,000, and he essentially ripped me off for the money. And for decades, I was furious about it. I would run into him every so often. He'd no, I'll pay you, and then he would never pay me, right? And I was always mad about that. And I remember when I talked to Freeway Ricky, and I told him the story on camera for the first time, the first thing he said was, you do know that if he didn't rip you off, you'd probably have gone to prison.
That's fact.
And I'm like, I've never thought of it that way. You're absolutely right.
You'd have probably been successful.
17,000, 5 years in prison. That's what? 3,000 a year, 3,200 a year. No normal human being on earth would take that trade. But here I am, mad over 17,000. I've made millions of dollars since then. It didn't affect my life. At the time, it was upsetting, but overall, it didn't affect my life. And I never went to prison. And actually, I made more money than 17,000 talking about it on camera, like I'm doing now. This is going to bring an extra $1,000 on top of it, right? And you're right. When I sat back and thought, oh, yeah, whatever, who cares? It actually worked out.
Yeah.
I stopped being mad at the situation. But you're right. Nick Young is still kind of mad about that. And it did actually work out with him pretty decently.
Yeah, it worked out in his favor, right?
Unless he feels the back of his mind that he could have married Iggy and they could have had a better situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, which he won't admit, obviously.
No,
but
I don't think so.
But it's like, unless he's almost saying that he's mad that he didn't end up staying with Iggy because of this.
When you break it down like that,
am I right?
That's all it comes back to if you're looking at the whole picture.
Right.
Instead of saying...
the Iggy part is the only thing, the only fallout from it.
Yeah.
That's it.
And
nothing else.
And that was because we just look at what's in front of us. And what's in front of us is he snitched on me, fuck that. What happened? This happened, and this is where you are. So if you're mad about this part, then you have to erase all of this. So, and a lot of people don't look at life like that. Right? It's
a maturity thing.
It's just one of those things. You gotta look at the whole picture.
Have you ever broken it down to him like that?
Nope.
Okay.
You're gonna find out for the first time. And he was never gonna say it again.
Nick, you my man. I fuck with you. You've been on my show multiple times. Stop being mad about it. It worked out better for you.
It did.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Didn't work out all that well for Iggy either. If you think about it, she went and had a baby, with a Playboy Cardi who doesn't seem to be present in his son's life at all. You know what I mean? She's always on the internet complaining about how bad things worked out and whatever else. You see what I'm saying? Like, it actually worked out okay for you. You're in a better space than she's in. Am I right?
Yes. I don't get that. I don't like I stopped trying to like understand why women do certain things. You're going on the internet to complain that he's not a father.
Yeah.
And we supposed to feel sorry for you? What is the goal here? For us to say, oh, no one gives a fuck. No one cares. Like,
you know what I think the goal is at that moment? Is that this man is not responding to my calls and texts, and I'm going to get him to respond by being public. And when she would do that, he actually would respond. It's not a great strategy.
Yeah, but as I said, it's bad behavior. One, you got people in your
bad
business.
Behavior. Yeah.
Two, it don't make you look good because one, this is still the father of your child. Yeah, he might not be present today, but you're gonna burn the bridge down today, meaning that once this bridge is burned, he probably will no longer try to come across. There's more years than fucking 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
There's more years than, like, people make life decisions off of, he hasn't seen a child in 3 months. So you're gonna get rid of the rest of your child's life with this father or this mother for 3 months that he's not talking to you because there's beef? It just seems so, like, I'm never gonna bite the hand that's feeding me, and that's literally what it is. You're getting child support from these dudes. Why are you spinning the block negative against them?
Well, but Iggy does have her own money as well. I think Iggy is fine without Playboy Cardi child support. She could raise that kid in luxury without the help
but does she
of
get
Playboy.
Playboy child support?
I would assume she does.
Okay, so
but I don't know.
So you still need it at some point.
You could use it, yeah.
You
don't need it, but you can use it. Yeah, it's helpful.
So instead of making him look like a jackass or a deadbeat, if that's what you want to call him, make him look like the best father in the world, because the best father in the world tag gets better bread.
I get it.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it gets
it.
better bread. Like, if I'm on the other side and I'm the woman, I'm going to make, even if he never sees this child, I'm going to make him look great.
Yeah, I agree.
Point taken. You said something about Kendrick video.
Uh-huh.
What was out of all of it, what was the biggest part of that video? What was the most impactful part? Think about it. In this whole beef, what was the most impactful scene?
Most people talk about the owl in the cage. No?
What was the most, like, when it came to family? What was the most?
With his girl and the 2 kids. Yeah.
Even we don't know if the rumors are true or not.
Yeah.
All we know is she and the kids are having a joyful moment, laughing at the person who made the statement, crip walking and doing all this with his family.
With the 2 kids, yeah.
Right? It don't matter what the real life is. To us, real life is that picture, that scene. So as for parents and fathers and families, that right there is a blessing to it. And that's what I mean as mothers and women, you have to understand to protect the bread at all time, because you're gonna get some of this.
Yeah.
If you're getting child support, the better this man looks is the more money you get. You got to start thinking business. Are you a business? You're not a business? The child is a business at this point.
Yeah, it is. It is. Nick, man, when you see this is your moment to take an exhale and say, it happened. It turned out for the best.
Mm-hmm.
Say it again. It turned out for the best.
Amen.
You know, I remember I had situations where a girl did me dirty and it caused me to get back with my ex, and that situation happened for years. And I remember I ran into the girl. She's like, yo, I'm really sorry this happened. I literally said, don't worry about it. It actually worked out well.
Yeah.
I remember having this conversation with that girl. I hadn't seen her in years. She did me dirty. Went on vacation and she went and spent the night with some other guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That had never happened to me before. Not on that level. I was angry. I kicked her out of the house when she came back, whatever. But I ended up getting back together with someone who ended up being a very important part of my life. So when I saw her and she apologized, I said, don't worry about it. Whatever guilt you feel, it's all good. It worked out well for me.
Mm-hmm.
She went and had a baby with some random dude, and it didn't work out well for her. Worked out well for me. Well, O.J. Simpson, who passed away, was honored at the BET Awards.
Okay.
You know about this?
No.
When they had the BET Awards, they put up, how they put up people who passed or whatever. They put up O.J. Simpson. And that created a whole, internet uproar where people are like, oh, he was a murderer. No, he was found not guilty, whatever. And I think Stephen A. Smith kind of bashed the BET Awards about this. And then Faison Love, who's my man, basically dissed Stephen A. Smith. And there's been some back and forth about it. Because of this, because I'm a habitual poster, I put up a tweet this morning.
Uh-huh.
A poll at that. I said, do you think O.J. Simpson's passing would have been honored at the BET Awards if he had been accused of killing a black woman and a black man? $1,100 votes. Well, 42% said yes, he would have been honored. 58% said no. So it's very close.
It's still close.
It's almost 50-50.
Uh-huh.
Was O.J. found not guilty? 100%. Do most people feel he did it? Yes. But he was still found not guilty.
At the end of the day, man, it's fuck your feelings. It's just truth, man. It's, and I understand what Faison. I did catch the Faison, a little bit of it, and he's right, right. The man went to court, to the white court, right, and was found innocent,
Not guilty.
not guilty,
Yeah.
which is innocent.
Depends how you look at it. There was reasonable doubt. No. There was reasonable doubt. They proved reasonable doubt.
I don't care what it is, innocent, right?
Okay.
He's not guilty equals innocent, which means
He didn't do it.
he didn't do it.
In the eyes of the court.
In the eyes of the court, in law, he did not do it. Now, everybody else, your opinion is cool, but it has no factual to it at this
Right.
point. So fuck your feelings. Like it's your feelings that's into this now. Your
Right.
feelings of this man did it.
Right. And to be fair, when he got caught in the Las Vegas incident, the judge almost definitely gave him a much harsher sentence because of, the murders.
Yeah, probably.
People who do robberies should not be getting the type of time that he got.
But that's what I'm saying. It's the feeling. You can't. You're entitled to your feeling, but your feeling doesn't make it right.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you right. It's just how you feel about something. So if you don't like OJ, then obviously in your mind he's guilty. But obviously you're wrong. You're on the wrong side of it because he was found innocent and got off.
Yeah, listen, I personally don't care. I just knew that was going to get an uproar.
No, of course
on
it's
the
going to be
internet.
it's going to be an uproar. But
It's going to turn into a racial thing, whatever. And I didn't say I don't think he should have been honored. I actually don't care. Listen, was he a generational sports talent? Absolutely. Heisman winner? Absolutely. Did he have a career in movies and commercials and everything else like that? Yeah. The murder happened, and it was a very divisive moment in American history.
Mhm.
So I knew that a tweet like that would get everyone upset.
Of course.
Which it has done. So my job has been completed. And I'm sure, and listen, and I'm sure that BET did that on purpose.
I'm pretty sure they went back and forth
Yeah.
with it, and I'm pretty sure this wasn't just one person's vote and we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they sat there and weighed out the.
We're going to put them up, and everyone's going to have an
Yeah.
opinion about this. That's going to bring more attention to the BET Awards. They're trolling. Everybody trolls to a certain degree.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's you can only go with the facts, and this is what the facts are. I'm at the point where if it's not about facts, what are we talking about? I don't do the hypo. I'm trying to stay out of hypotheticals and what ifs, right? Well, he did it, and he did. It's innocent, right? It says, right? It's not about what you know; it's about what you can prove in court. In court, he said this. This is all I can go with. I
you're right.
can't.
You're
no matter
absolutely
how
right.
much we argue back and forth, it's still is this. This is still the result.
Right. Right. And, everyone was, waiting for OJ to tell his truth on his, deathbed. And that never happened. He died, and that was it.
What was his
That's
truth?
it.
But what was his truth? What was?
Well, no, you're right.
What
You're
I'm
right.
saying,
People expected him to maybe give some more information as to
Well,
what
okay,
happened.
now what if he was on his deathbed and said, "I did not do it"? The same people is gonna say he's lying.
Yeah, no,
Like,
listen,
so it don't
matter.
It don't matter.
I was supposed to interview him at one point. We just couldn't come up with a deal, that made sense for everybody. You know what I mean? So I would have interviewed him. feeling the way I feel, it is what it is. You know what's actually funny is once again, Stephen A. Smith's people reached out to me and said, we want to use some of your content for his YouTube show. It was a D.L. Hughley interview that we did where he talked about O.J. Simpson and he felt like he did and so forth. So once again, I said, if you would like to give me a call and have a discussion with me and establish a business relationship, he could use it. But last time, when I put that out there, I was told he's too busy. So therefore, I did not give permission to use my content. And once again, they did not follow up with it. I never got a call. I actually DM'd him. He never responded.
Oh, he didn't?
Yeah, he didn't respond. So basically, Steven, it seems like he has a revolving door of employees who are working on this.
You know.
If you want to reach out to me and establish some sort of relationship, I'm not saying you have to be on my show or I have to be on your show, but if you're going to use my content, you have to show me the respect of some sort of business relationship to use our content. If you don't want to do that, don't use our content. We're not going to give you permission or I'll copyright strike it if it actually ends up being used. The choice is yours.
I want to. This is a question that we really have to ask ourselves. Is there a such thing as actually doing your time?
What do you mean?
Like when someone gets in trouble and they do whatever time they do, when they get out, why is there still problems?
Yeah, I agree with you on this. And I feel that a felony ends up being forever punishment, right?
Everything is forever punishment, it seems like. Right? No matter if someone, like, what is the word that they use when you get in trouble? You need to...
Rehabilitate yourself?
It's in them terms, but like when you get in trouble and they tell you to take responsibility, accountability. The fucking fakest word I've ever heard in my life. Oh, it's the worst because what does it mean? What does accountability mean? Accountability means I did something, right? Real apologies is how I was taught. I do something, right? I change my behavior. I no longer do that, then I apologize to you as a new man.
Yeah.
Right? That's how you really apologize. Like if I get in trouble and then come to you because I got in trouble and apologize, I'm still the same jackass, right? I haven't changed. I got to change the behavior first. No longer do this. Then I say, hey, I want to say sorry for who I used to be. I'm no longer that guy. Now, me moving in this new space, I don't say you need to accept it, but don't keep bringing me back to who I used to be. If you told me to be accountable, what the fuck am I being accountable for if you're going to keep still pulling me back? Like with Chris Brown, why are you still calling this man and keep using what he did as a teenager? He has 2 kids, 3 kids by now. They're damn near grown. And you're still talking about some shit so the only person that has not grown is fucking you.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what it like. The people who want you to be accountable is the only people that's not growing in life.
Well, I mean, the way I look at it is apologizing for something or taking responsibility for something or being accountable for something doesn't erase that from your history.
Of course.
It just becomes part of your history, and the apology becomes part of your history as well. There are certain things that I've publicly apologized for. There's certain things I publicly haven't apologized for. And both of those things are part of my history.
Yeah.
Vlad did this but didn't apologize. I hate him. Vlad did this but apologized. I like him. Or Vlad did this but apologized, but that apology wasn't good enough for me, so fuck him anyways. Yeah. Like, you know, it's however, like if you don't like someone and they do something that reinforces your dislike, you'll just not like them more and use that to justify. It doesn't matter. Apology, not apology, canceled, not canceled. If you keep putting out product that people like, you can't be canceled.
Yeah, it's not even about the canceling. It's just about as a person, as just the human that's doing the judging. Like, you don't understand what it looks like. If you're a Chris Brown hater,
Yeah.
and you're still hating him because of the Rihanna situation, you're the only person that hasn't grown in the last fucking 15 years or whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
Hate him for something new. Don't hate him. You know, something he has to have done something new for you not to like him, but to, like, he has not hit another woman. He hasn't done it. So the behavior that he showed then does not exist anymore for him. Did other things that you can hate him for. Judge him for that.
Well,
No, you gotta judge him for that.
Listen, it's not that I'm disagreeing with you, but then there's also some things for certain people are unforgivable. So if you grew up watching your dad beat the shit out of your mom, and then you see the Rihanna pictures, you might be justified in your own head to hate Chris Brown forever.
Okay.
If you didn't grow up seeing, domestic violence, and you say, hey, it was a 19-year-old, that person may have done something similar in a relationship at one point. They're like, listen, he fucked up. He apologized. He's never done it again. Cool. The reality is that all this doesn't matter. The most important skill as a public figure on the internet is thick skin. You have to be able to hear all this every day and say, who cares? I get called a culture vulture every day. I now am called a colonizer because of Kendrick every day. It doesn't matter. The checks still come in the mail.
He called you a colonizer?
Yeah. Who? Wait, what's that?
Kendrick?
No, not Kendrick, but other people.
Oh, because of the Drake.
It's a new culture. Colonizer is the new culture vulture. And culture vulture is the new honky. Whatever. It's a white person in a space where there's black people congregating.
Yeah, I get it.
It is what it is. I don't care. The checks still come in the mail. My employees are still fed. My family's still good. I still get guests like you that come to my show. It doesn't stop anything. But you have to say, who cares about all the noise? Because it will be there.
No, it's always.
You have your own haters.
Yeah.
An army of them.
Yeah, I don't.
Who cares?
I never cared. Right? I don't give a fuck what you think about me because it's meaningless. Right? You are meaningless to what I do every day. Like it doesn't. You know what I mean? Your opinion doesn't matter. The only thing I say is hate me for something new, dog.
Yeah, but it doesn't work that way.
No, don't like, you know what I mean? Some shit, because it's just life. I can't get a fucking spanking for some shit I did when I was 3, right? My dad and this is really how it looks. My dad gets mad. He has a memory of me spilling the milk. Now he want to whoop me 20 years later for the milk I spilt when I was fucking 3.
I get it.
That doesn't happen, right? So why are you bringing up something I did 20 years ago to be mad at me today?
Right, but these aren't people that you actually know. This is just social media chatter.
But when you put it in terms that they can actually visualize and see it. 20 years ago, someone did something.
Yeah.
Right? You whooped them in. Pow, 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 pow.
Yeah.
Okay, 20 years pass. And he does something and makes you think about what he did 20 years before. You can't spank him anymore.
No, I get it. I get it.
Move the fuck on.
Chris Brown wasn't allowed to play in the NBA celebrity game because of the Rihanna thing. So, okay, does that really affect his life?
No, but
you can't play in one celebrity game. Doesn't matter.
There's not one. It's every year.
Right, but
how long? How many years?
Okay, but
how many years?
Show me how his life has changed because that game isn't accessible to him.
It's not about the game. It's not. What I'm saying is, so you're saying since that incident, he hasn't done everything in his power in the right direction, away from that.
And look,
I look at that like, how long can you keep holding them to it? Like, just tell the man forever.
It is forever. It's probably after his death.
It's forever. Like,
people still talk about Michael Jackson and the little kids long after he died. He's still being sued for that. You know what I'm saying? There's still documentaries.
That's why
it is what it is. But here's the reality, though. Chris Brown just went on a sold-out arena tour.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Either arenas or big venues or whatever the fuck else you want to call it. Girls are still lined up to do $1,000 meet and greets with him and everything else like that. He still sells albums. He still has big songs. Now, Fat Joe recently went on live and said that if it wasn't for the Rihanna thing, people would be talking about Chris Brown like they talk about Michael Jackson. And I actually disagree with that, because when you look at the musical catalog, Chris Brown hasn't achieved what Michael achieved. Mm-hmm. He hasn't had a Thriller. He hasn't had an Off the Wall. Mm-hmm. You know, for whatever reason, was Chris Brown as psychotic about making music as Michael was? Probably not. You know what I'm saying? Like, Michael seemed like he put everything, his whole life, into these albums, into his dancing, everything else like that. Chris Brown seemed like, hey, I'm young, I'm a multimillionaire, I got babies, I got girlfriends, you know, I'm hanging out with Bloods, like I'm a Pyru Blood, you know? I mean, me and Wack 100 talked about that. Like, he's got a lot of distractions that prevented him from being the greatest entertainer of all time. Even with the Rihanna thing, I mean, look, R. Kelly had his biggest songs after the underage peeing video, right? You could do it. Chris Brown just hasn't done it. But people will like to say, oh, it's because of the Rihanna thing. No, it's just he hasn't created the products.
It's excuses. It's like it's excuses you make to make yourself feel better about, you know, like putting a number one or putting a number two. That, like, you need to separate sometimes the human and the talent.
Yeah.
Right? You know, Chris Brown on your video screen and in the radio is not the Chris Brown who's at home, right? If you hate the Chris Brown that's at home, cool. But the one that comes on the radio is a different human being.
Yeah.
Right? You got to learn how to separate the entities. And I don't think people are very good at that. You know, I really don't.
Okay, so James Harden is now Instagram official with his girlfriend, Paige Spites. Now, Paige has a baby with Mario Chalmers. She's also Lou Williams' ex-girlfriend.
Okay.
This is the girl, remember the wedding video where she caught the bouquet?
Yeah,
and then, you know, Harden is like looking all like crazy, like, oh no, not me.
Yeah.
Why do you think that so many NBA guys date girls that other players have dated or have babies with other girls and, you know, other NBA players and stuff like that, as opposed to saying, let me go completely out of this fishbowl and have someone completely new that doesn't have any ties into any people that I'll be playing with or against?
It's like Little Nemo.
Okay.
It's like the Little Nemo, right? It's a big ocean out there, right? And going out in that ocean, going outside that fish bowl, we don't know what to expect, right? You're talking about a bunch of guys that's it's more controlled than you would think. Like, when you think about NBA players, with social media being so present, you don't really know who they are. You don't really see them much, right? Unless someone snaps them and put them on their story, you don't know what Kevin Durant does in his off time. Klay Thompson, you barely see him. You know what I mean? You bet Paul George, you know, Giannis, right? Jayson Tatum, Ja Morant. If they don't turn on their social media, you don't get to see these guys. So this girl, what did you say, Spice?
Paige Spites.
Paige
Spites.
She's been an NBA girl, right? She's been an NBA girl.
She's definitely an NBA girl.
Which
yes.
means she understands the rules. She understands the layout. She knows, she understands what needs to be done to keep these men happy, right? So she's gonna always, if you have two girls, one is brand new, no basketball player knows, and then you have one that's dated two. If they're in a tryout, if this is a tryout,
she got more work experience.
She's gonna know, like, she's
got
gonna
a better
know,
resume.
No, I mean, she's gonna know the schedule.
Yeah.
Versus this one, right? So he comes home from practice. This was gonna have lunch ready. This and this. She doesn't know. She doesn't know when you get home. She don't know nothing about the road. She don't know this one packs your clothes up and knows what to give you. This one don't. She has to learn in real time, right? So this one be getting all A's while this one's being judged for not knowing nothing. So it's easier for an NBA player to mess with a girl who's already been around the block than this girl. We might get in one fight. She might call the police. Right? Of course they're gonna arrest me, right? Just being whatever, and then now I'm arrested. Now that messes up the money. Or she might get mad and do a rant on social media. Now I'm all exposed. The ones that's been around the block don't do that. So it's a little bit more, hey, she might be a little bit more dirtier under the nails.
Got a few more miles on him.
But my image stays a little bit cleaner with a girl who's already been around other players.
Yeah, you haven't really seen Harden with a lot of girls publicly like that. So this must be serious.
Well, usually all of our relationships are serious until they're not.
Well, no. I mean, like the Mariah Mills and Zion relationship definitely wasn't serious.
But it was it was
serious. It was serious enough.
It was serious, and she's helping him with his weight. So it was serious. He just went on social media with another girl, and that kind of pissed her off, right? So, but before that, we didn't even know these two were talking
at all,
right? So, when you're an athlete, you do have more of a controlled atmosphere. So, an athlete can date 50-something girls and nobody will never know.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? It's just usually you find out when there's a breakup or something happened, or, you know what I mean? That's usually when the mouth gets to talking because you cut her off.
Yeah. Well, you said that Steph Curry is not a generational talent.
Yeah.
Why would you say that? I actually disagree.
Because I'm tricky with words.
Okay.
I'm tricky with words, and I understand media, not your media, but sports media, because they never played, like, as a rapper, right? And a music executive, you guys, there's certain lingos that everybody won't know, and categories everybody wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Right? So the word generational talent is from an age of 3 years old to about 19. It's an amateur status. The status is amateur. It's a talent. It's not matured yet. It's not defined yet. So Tiger Woods was a generational talent at 3 years old. LeBron James at 16, 15. Wemby, right? He's called what? Generational talent, right? So how can he be generational talent and Steph? That means one is put into a category he shouldn't be in.
So you're saying it only applies when he was younger?
Yeah, no, it only applies to youth, right? These kids are generational, meaning it's with generational talent. Generational talent is like calling someone your girlfriend, right? Right? To be your wife, right? It's still your girlfriend. It's immature right at this moment. And then there's another phase of fiance. And then when you get married, she's your wife. You would not call her your girlfriend again.
Right.
So when you introduce her, so saying Steph Curry is a generational talent, you're calling him an amateur status. You're calling him your girlfriend. He is called a generational player now.
Is he a generational player?
He's a generational player.
Okay, so there you have it.
Right? See, I'm just playing tricky with the words, but he's a generational player, meaning his talent, his skill, he is dominated. He's probably changed the game. He's a game changer. So he's graduated from the word talent to the word player. So yes, he's a generational player. See, but I knew, just like clickbait, I knew me saying he's not a generational talent because they messed up on the wording.
Got it.
Right? So no, I would not call him a generational talent because he's a generational player. Just like you wouldn't call a wife your girlfriend anymore.
Right.
Right? It's you take the higher category.
Got it.
And that's all that was. So
Got it.
I was right. I just didn't let you know there was another status. That's
Okay.
all.
Well, Sebastian Telfair has become a regular guest on my show.
Okay.
And I remember in the first interview, he talked about how his deal with Adidas fell apart.
Mm-hmm.
He was really upset over that. He basically blamed Adidas for sending his mom back to the projects and so forth. And then in our second interview, he threw your name in the mix. You heard that. I'm like, I hope Gilbert's not too mad at me when this comes out.
Nah.
But I know how I know that you take it all in with a grain of salt. I never said anything bad about you. And he didn't really say anything bad about you, but he was just mad over the overall Adidas situation.
Yeah.
And when I mentioned that you're back with Adidas again, he kind of flipped his lid once again. When you saw that, and we'll play a clip of that right now. When you saw that, what'd you think?
Like I didn't because I know, Bass. I took it at how he presented it, right? He presented it as he's mad at Adidas, and anybody who stands for Adidas, fuck you too, right? Not necessarily the person themselves. He's mad at Adidas. Gil got his, well, fuck him too. He knows where I stand. Like I understand what he's saying, right? It's not the people that's in Adidas, not the players themselves. Just as a whole, fuck them all, right?
Yeah.
And I get that. I can't take that.
Like Tupac.
Yeah. If you down with
Bad
Death Row,
Boys, a record company, a crew. If you down with Bad Boy, then fuck you too.
Yeah, it was that. So I don't take that as a personal shot to me directly.
Yeah.
Because I was where he was before.
Well, I remember in our first interview when that whole situation happened, when Fabulous got shot and the chain snatching happened and he lost his Adidas deal. What I said was, it seemed like this was something you could have potentially fought legally. Because it seemed like he was the victim in that situation. So why would a victim lose an Adidas deal? And he said, well, at the time, he didn't really know about lawyers and stuff like that, and they weren't really sophisticated enough to go through the proper legal steps. It was just a shock. From your point of view, could he have potentially fought that?
See, I don't know the case.
Huh.
Right. I don't know his case. I don't know the language in his contract.
Huh.
So that's a thing too. Right? You got to know like the details of the person's contract.
Yeah.
Of what's in it. Like in mine, I had, if I get a felony, it goes away. So me pleading to a felony got rid of my contract.
Did you realize at that moment that pleading the felony would make you lose that deal? Or did you not read the contract and then find out?
No. I knew if I pleaded to a felony that I was going to lose my Adidas deal.
Okay.
But I was under the impression at the time that if I pleaded for the felony, I wouldn't be going to court, and then, I can plead no jail time. It's all over. We can move on.
You took
a plea deal,
freedom over the Adidas deal.
Yes. So I'm thinking it's a plea deal because I don't. Like, I didn't understand, I understand, court and law, which I had to smarten up during that whole time to see and then, once I realized, what the fuck did I do that for, right? But everything was hitting me at one time that it was like, all right, I just want this to go away, right? Okay, I can just plead, and then we can just get on with the season and do whatever the NBA is going to do. So I thought by me pleading guilty that I didn't have to go to court with this,
right?
Because at this time there was no police involved. It wasn't a cop thing. This was an NBA thing. So I thought this was going to stop me from. But I ended up going to court.
I mean, in retrospect, could you have gotten it dropped or gotten it down to a misdemeanor or something like that?
I actually could have got a misdemeanor
and kept your Adidas deal
because at the end of the day,
nothing really happened.
Nothing happened, and they only was going by my word that I brung it. There was no video or me bringing it. I said they were mine. So the only thing that came out of this, me admitting that they were mine. But if I said, oh, they're not, then there was no proof. There was no fingerprinting or none of that. So
okay,
but it was just one of those things, man. But just like Bassie, and I would tell him this is like I get it. I was there, but just like anything. The longer you harp in that area, you can't ever move on, right? I had to sit back and think, all right, if I ever want an Adidas deal again, I had to clean up me, right? And that's what I did. I became a force in the social media standpoint and the basketball where they came back to me, hey, we would like to re-release your shoes. Like, okay, what we talking? I knew there wasn't going to be no money at first.
So he brought that up. He's saying that you only got merch. Did he do the same thing with Gilbert Arenas? Remember that whole
And I
situation?
see Gilbert back with Adidas, so I don't know what conversation or who, you know what I'm saying, what they got going on over there. How is that? And not that I care, because they could do that.
Yeah.
And if he with them, fuck Gilbert too. Niggas know my vibe. Niggas know the vibe, Vlad.
Gilbert actually is back with Adidas.
Yeah,
Right.
but what?
Yeah,
that shit ain't
right.
nothing. That shit is corny. Niggas be looking plain as fuck.
Yeah, but when the first deal was just merch.
Okay.
Merch, and you re-released my shoes, and then those blew off the charts. Well, wait. I mean, what's
okay.
up? Let's talk some. You know what I mean? But
Okay, so your second deal, after that was done, you got money
Yeah.
after that. Okay.
But the first deal wasn't about money. It was about reestablishing myself.
Now you have to.
Like, I don't give a fuck if they said, here, we'll give you $1,000 of merch. I don't need your merch. I don't need the merch. I can go buy the merch.
Yeah.
What I needed was Adidas standing behind me again.
Yeah.
Now, Adidas standing behind me, that means, hey, he's cleaning up for Adidas? Oh shit, he's cleaning up for us then. And so it was hard for other companies to say, nah, you're gunting, dog. Like, you know what I mean? You're gunting. No, Adidas is here. Then it opens up everything else. So sometimes you just gotta sit here and say, all right, listen, I need to do something for free to keep moving. I think a lot of people don't want to do, like, what do I look like saying, oh no, I need 300,000, 500,000. Like, they don't need me.
Yeah, well, I mean,
they don't need me anymore.
That's the thing that a lot of people don't realize is that when you have a financial base, you could do these no money deals with a long-term plan involved. See what I'm saying? But if you need the money, you're going to go off just the money. If the money's not there, you're not going to do the deal. Like, I remember you told me when you joined Shannon Sharp's show, you didn't want anything out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the show blew up.
Yeah.
Then, yeah, you could renegotiate later on if you need to. Same thing with this Adidas deal. You know, there's lots of stuff I do for free. And it turns into something. Sometimes it's just a barter. You know, a lot of people, I'll do their show, they do my show, and it's not really spoken like that, but we just know that we just do that and everyone makes money along the way. Now, I could be like, no, I need $5,000 for this appearance. But it's like, I know the person's not going to give it to me, and then the relationship is over, and then it's a lose-lose.
But that's the thing. What is the real value here? Is the value today's dollar or tomorrow's dollar?
Yeah.
Right? And that's
Yeah.
that's everything.
But if you need the money today, you're not thinking about tomorrow's dollar.
And that's the problem.
That's the problem.
Because sometimes tomorrow dollars is the play.
Exactly.
Right? And that's just the way it is. I don't care if I don't have $5 in my pocket. If I know if I ask for too much, I'm not gonna get the interview.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Like you say, I want to give you 2,000. I'm like, nah, give me 10. I'm worth 10 because I'm thinking about bills I gotta pay.
Right.
And then you're like, well, fuck it, I'm a pat. Now I messed up on the 2,000. I messed up on the interview. That interview could have got me some more interviews, and that 2,000 done turned into 20. Now turned into I got my own podcast now. You know what I mean? They don't. It's what we miss out on because we're looking in real time. But at the end of the day, most of the things we've all done in life was for free. Right?
Yeah.
I practiced and trained for basketball from 10 years old to 20 years old, 19. That's 10 years of fucking free before I got paid $300-something thousand. That's reality. When you're making beats at home doing nothing, that's free. And then you get paid a little bit and you say you can't go back to free. Yes, you can.
Oh, you totally can.
You can.
Yeah.
You lived in that some of your best shit was free.
Do you think that Kanye will ever come back to Adidas? Because clearly he's still very popular. Had the #1 song in the world. The album did well. He's still selling out shows. People are still buying his merch and his own Yeezy clothing and stuff like that. No, it's a wrap.
He will never come back because someone gave him the idea of something bigger. And that thing was you can have Yeezy brand. Yeezy brand is a brand. not Adidas and Yeezy. You are a standalone brand by yourself, so you don't need them, right? Now you give someone who is a creator of things, right? You know, you can throw genius out there. Whatever you want, ADHD, whatever you want to use, he's a creator.
Yeah.
Meaning, once his brain touches it, he's moving, right? So once he got that idea, whoever gave him the idea, once he thought about Yeezy brand, Adidas was irrelevant to him.
I don't know about that. I don't know about
I can tell you, Adidas don't want to lose. Yeah, it's Yeezy who's pushing this. It's Yeezy who keeps coming up with things to say to keep getting out of this deal. He doesn't want to be in the deal anymore. So
you think he did all the anti-Semitic stuff on purpose?
Fuck yeah.
Really?
1,000%.
Why would he go to Skechers right afterwards? Remember he went into Skechers and they kicked him out?
Just for shit. If you don't know, he's calculated.
I don't know.
He's a calculated person. He wants his own. He wanted his own, his.
He had his own. Yeezy was a standalone brand already, which he was allowed to actually sell. He had his own shoes and his own clothing that he sold independently already outside of the Adidas deal.
100% of it. Like even the kids that I was at the school, right? The kids at the school, they couldn't wear Adidas stuff. It's all Yeezy stuff. No, you can't wear Adidas. You can't wear Adidas shoes.
Oh, you mean his school?
Yeah, you couldn't wear Adidas shoes or nothing. You can tell, I don't think he went it in the best way, but I knew they wasn't going to let him out. You're not going to let out a creator like that. So that means he had to force himself out. You got to think he's a genius or he's an idiot. You got to pick a side, right?
You could be both. Lots of genius idiots out there.
You can't be you can't be that gifted in making something and everything you do is for a reason, even if the rest of the world don't understand it. So if he's saying this stuff and writing this stuff, that means think about it. I'm conscious, he's like, oh, I gotta say this. And I go pick my phone up and do this and then hit the send button. I'm pretty sure there's times where you was gonna write some stuff and then thought about it and then erased it.
Lots of times.
Right? So send, because he wants something to happen because he's looking at something else. And that's the problem, is we don't know what he's after. We do know he wants Yeezy as his own thing, because he knows Yeezy by itself is it. So I don't know how much money. I heard they even tried to double it to get him back. You can't find. I'm sorry, but you can't find people like him. Yeah. I don't give a fuck what people think. And crazy. You can't mimic brains, and that's a brain you can't mimic. I don't care what your emotions is about what you can't mimic it, right? How he works, how he ticks, and the creativity of him. You can't go out there and find another fucking him. So if it's gonna cost you $2 more billion or 84% of you can't lose it. You're gonna go and grab a whole bunch of other NBA players and sit there. Oh, I like them. I didn't know. Oh, there's just some people you can't mimic, man. Everyone's not replaceable.
You know what's interesting is I was at Balenciaga yesterday. I bought some sandals. And as I'm going through the shelves, I see these sock shoes that look just like the Yeezy sock shoes that he's selling now. And I was like, who made these first? And they're like, well, this is an interesting kind of point of contention. Balenciaga actually released them first. And they're like $900.
Yeah.
Kanye released them afterwards. They're like $20. But I guess they were saying that when he was cool with the brand at one point, there were some conversations that happened, and it's a little fuzzy as to who came up with the idea or whatever else. But I thought those were his creation completely. But lo and behold, Balenciaga actually literally has almost the exact same thing. And yeah, for example, when I interviewed Sebastian, he mentioned that he feels that Adidas stole Kanye's high top sneaker and gave it to Anthony Edwards. Have you seen these the Anthony Edwards sneakers? Do you see what I'm saying about how similar they look?
Yeah. Well, I can say, you know, they stole my low top designs and gave it to other people, but
They're allowed to
man.
do that. Remember Kanye was accusing them? Remember the whole thing where he was showing porn to the executives? Like, this is how I feel when you steal my design.
Yeah. But that's exactly. You're trying to figure out how to ruffle people's feathers. But you know, if you just go back to Kanye West, and this goes from when he was at Louis Vuitton, when he was at Nike, you're missing out. Them. You go back and look at those Louis Vuitton Kanye's. Them shit's expensive now.
Oh, yeah.
Those is legacies. They're legacies now.
Yeah.
Them all them colorways and like those $20,000, $10,000, $30,000, $120,000 shoes, right? He touched it, and the designs were great. So I'm sorry, like I'm just, you know, all people ain't business minded, so they don't understand that. There's just some people out there that's just not worth losing, and you can never recover from it, right? You know, you're just people on your staff. They're like, oh, I need a raise, and you beat around the bush. You know, you try to make it. You know, with this, you know, going on. I don't know if I can afford it. I gotta, you know, fire some people here, there, and then, you know, I can get back to you. When in reality, I'm gonna give you the money. Trust me, right? I just gotta pretend so you don't think that you got undervalued, so you can come back in 3 weeks. Right? You know, you got to pull the pull and tug with the person. Just, oh, I got to fire 4 people. Hopefully they feel like, oh, man, that sucks. Right? Even though usually they don't give a shit either. But that's him. He's a mind that knows fashion.
Yeah. And music.
And music.
Yeah. And social media.
And he knew it from the beginning. Yo, hell yeah.
Yeah.
He understands trolling to the third power, because I can tell you this, when he don't want to be seen, you can never see that motherfucker for real.
No, he trolls around album releases.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yep, rants.
Every time.
Yep.
He's rarely trolling for the sake of trolling.
Yeah, you're right. He doesn't.
Yeah. And he actually, like, he's always been an artist because, you know, like, I'm friends with, like, John Monopoly, his manager. And, like, he's always been the type of dude that every project, every song, he gets out there, hits the road. He really pushes everything as hard as he possibly could. He doesn't expect the label to just go and do all the work for him.
Yeah, no facts.
He never has.
Yeah.
He took it into his own hands. I mean, in fact, no one believed in him. When I interviewed him for the first and only time, this was like maybe 2004, Through the Wire was out, but Slow Jams had just dropped.
Mm-hmm.
And Through the Wire was like, oh, okay, that's the producer who's rapping now. Oh, that's cool. It's a cool song, but it's not like a mega hit.
Mm-hmm.
Slow Jams was the first hit.
Mm-hmm.
And like he had to push to get people to accept him that he's not just Jay-Z's producer.
Yeah.
Which, you know, a lot of producers try to rap and very few of them ever succeed.
Mm-hmm.
None of them to the level that he has succeeded. You know, yeah, you got the Diamond D's back in the day and you got the Pete Rocks who rap somewhat, but like, Kanye is still a mega producer and still a mega rapper. Like,
but even though those names you name, were they obsessed like he is?
No, probably not. Probably in their own way, but not like him.
Yeah, and that's what it is. It's someone who says, it's technically me against the world, and he's treating it like it. Because at the end of the day, nobody knows how to push your stuff better than you do. Right? There's things in life that as the talent you can't delegate.
True.
And he realized, I can't delegate this part of it, and that's pushing me. And I can't delegate that part because no one's gonna do it as great as I do it.
Yeah, that's the hardest part about being a business owner. It's something I struggle with every single day. Like, I would love to just run the company and have other people do all the interviews.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had, you know, like the Sean Prezes of the world and Lunells and stuff like that have done great interviews and have done big numbers, but like, I still have to step in and keep the company going.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I can't just sit there and delegate it to someone else. It's still VladTV, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not happy about this. I'm 51 now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I figure I got about another 10 years left. And then
What's the longest you tried to step away and just
I mean, there were times where there was lots of other interviewers. I've never totally stepped away, but there were times where there was a lot of rotation of other people, and it ultimately, it's not enough to keep the company going. So here I am.
Is it because they can't get the names, or it's they don't? They don't
I
have
mean,
the its. They
people still come to VladTV to listen to Vlad.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
don't.
I'm not happy about this. Trust me. I would love to just be an executive at this point,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not like I'm the only one. It's not like Skip Bayless is retired and he's
No. Yeah, just
Stephen A.
sometimes-
Smith, Sway is still doing it. Like all the old guys that are older than me are still doing it.
Trust me, I Gil's Arena,
Yeah,
and I'm sitting there like, why didn't I just call it the Arena?
right.
Right.
You can't sell Gil's Arena.
And that's
I can't really sell Vlad TV.
like, it's like, why didn't I just call it the Arena? Because Gil's Arena means Gil has to be there.
Correct.
The Arena, everyone's whoever the
Trust
cast
me, when
is.
Vlad TV was launched, I had so many like Kick It TV and On Hit TV. Nothing was really sticking, so I said, fuck it, I'll just call it Vlad TV.
Mm-hmm.
Might have been one of the worst decisions ever.
Yeah.
But, it's also made me millions of dollars. So I can't really say it's
You
one of the
can't
worst.
complain,
It
but-
was the worst and the best decision at the same time.
Yeah.
So it was a generationally good and bad decision.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. Well, they're saying that Michael Jordan actually sees similarities with Anthony Edwards. Do you agree?
Here's how I always look at when people are being compared to other people. I always ask, what year? And it's always what year? I'm not, because, when you're talking about Anthony Edwards, you're talking about, okay, we have a 22-year-old guy who's running and jumping. What Michael Jordan you talking about? And then, if I'm not talking, can't be 96 Jordan. So are we talking about, 84, 85, 86? Okay, yeah. A guy who just ran, jumped, used his athleticism, did all of the fancy moves? Yes. I agree with Anthony Edwards today looks like 84, 85, 86 Jordan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you ever see him getting to that level and surpassing Jordan?
Getting to the level of Michael Jordan, I'm gonna just say no. One, no one is gonna allow it. And that's just, the facts of it. It's just basically the 80s, 70s, right? It's a time where, I wasn't alive in the 70s and was a child in the 80s. I don't know what was happening in that era for who these people are. They were much needed, I guess. So whatever was going on, these figures distracted the world away from reality, right? Michael Jordan, was it Wayne Gretzky, right? You're talking about, Magic and Bird. You're talking about Michael Jackson. There's just figures in life where it all evolves around the same 10 years, right?
Well, here's an interesting question. Would Michael Jordan be looked at the same way if you completely took the sneakers away?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Michael Jordan in an alternate universe has never released a sneaker at all.
Yeah, he would still be Michael Jordan.
And he would still be considered have the impact, because I feel that so much of the impact has to do with the sneakers as well.
No,
The overall impact. I'm not talking about just strictly basketball. I'm just talking about overall the way this man is viewed as essentially one of the most famous people on earth.
Does Tiger Woods have shoes?
No,
He's still big, right?
that's a good point.
And most of the soccer guys, that's
You're right.
Michael
yeah.
Schumacher,
No,
right?
you're right. You're absolutely right.
I think
Yeah, Messi, I don't think really has shoes.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Yeah.
I think when it comes to Michael Jordan, the shoes is we get to be a part of it. Him. That's what the shoes. The shoes isn't his legacy. It's just something he left behind that we get to keep holding on to.
Right, because, for example, you look at Kobe. Kobe sneakers were popular, but nowhere near on a Jordan level.
No. But now,
Still nowhere near on Jordan.
yeah, if they drop a Mamba different colorway, it'll go.
It'll definitely sell out. But if you look at the sales of a Kobe and a Jordan, I don't think it'll be similar.
And think about even with the Jordan, it only stops at a certain time.
Yeah, after the 13s.
Yeah.
Yeah, before the 13s.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, after 13s, no one
moving
cares.
forward, no one gave like so.
Yeah, every year they come out with a new Jordan, and every year nobody cares.
But new Jordan, no. Jumpman, no. The logo, no. So it's
just that time.
It's a time, and you got to look at what that time frame when he was dropping his shoes meant to people.
Yeah,
people felt good. Like Michael Jordan made. He made, like when you say his name, it makes people happy, right?
Yeah.
Right, when you say Michael Jordan, it makes people happy. Like, I met Michael Jordan, what was he like, right? You can't mimic it. That's why it can never be replaced. Because you're never gonna get the feeling of what he did in a time frame of whatever the world was going through at this time, dropping shoes, scoring, whatever he did, when you say his name, it's like a figure that just would never be touched. You can't touch it, no matter what you do.
Yeah, LeBron doesn't give people the same feeling. People wear LeBrons also, but not like Jordans.
People didn't get beat up. People got beat up for Jordan.
Like nobody got jumped for some KDs.
Jordan's shoes, people don't realize, because I was in high school. Like, they came out during the school day. Tuesday, 10 o'clock is when the stores opened up, and, you got kids skipping school for them and kids getting beat up for them.
Yeah.
Right? Then they had to push it to a weekend, right? Right? So it was his own thing. It had nothing to do with Michael Jordan. It's just, it was his own thing.
Yeah, I think that sneaker-wise, Kanye is the only person that made an impact that was close to Jordan in terms of sneakers. The Yeezys were a phenomenon.
Yeah, nobody got beat up for Yeezys, but yeah, for the most part,
people got beat up.
I mean, for the most part, when you want to say like a shoe like was impactful, I can say Yeezys.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, you could pick any other athlete shoe. Allen Iverson had an iconic shoe. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Kobe, LeBron, KD, nothing comes close. Unless you're talking about Yeezy. Yeezy stands above all of them until you hit a Jordan.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's the person too. It's the
person. Exactly.
It's the charisma. It's the style. It's how you carry yourself.
Icon.
It's the smart.
I feel it.
It's all of it. And people don't understand that. You can give anybody a shoe. Can they sell it? Do they like? Michael Jordan's shoe was Michael Jordan.
Right.
Right. People don't realize that. Like the ones are good, but the ones are Nike. It's wings, right? It wasn't MJ.
Yeah.
Right?
It was the threes.
It was
had the logo.
Yeah, the logo. The logo came in 87, 88, right?
Yeah.
And that's the iconic year for him. And then from there, we took off. Even though people buy the ones, that first year, the ones was it, right? It was the first Michael Jordan shoe.
Yeah.
Considered.
Yeah, but nobody really cared back then.
No.
It was really the threes.
Threes, and then moving on.
You gotta give it to Tinker Hatfield, who came up with an incredible design. The threes have always been my favorite Jordans. Mm-hmm. That's probably the shoe I have the most of.
The threes?
Yeah.
See, I like the fours. I love the four. Yeah. See, like it. Yeah.
No, they cool. I mean, at one point I had every different model.
Mm.
But I realized I didn't like the 11s.
You like the patent leathers?
No.
Yeah.
I just didn't like them. The ones I still like. I still have a few. I got the red and the blue ones. Those are cool. 2s I never really liked. 3s I liked a lot. Then everything else is sort of hit and miss. Yeah, there were some 4s that were okay, but some of them were like a little too bulky. The 5s and the 6s. And I've had 13s.
Like I don't like
12s.
The 7s.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're all kind of cool, but
See, that's what I said. It's not all of the shoes that's a staple. It's just only a few shoes.
Yeah, like the bread 3s are iconic.
Yeah, there's just shoes that like certain, like it was just him.
It was just him. Well, Sebastian, in our last interview, he said, I love Kobe, but stop that shit. Kobe is not Michael Jordan.
Not Kobe.
Not Kobe.
Let Kobe rest in peace. I love Kobe, but let's stop that shit. Kobe is not Michael Jordan.
What do you think that Kobe doesn't have that Jordan does have?
I don't know, but he's not Michael Jordan.
I mean, he's got the killer instinct. You know, he's got close to the number of rings. I mean,
You think he influenced the game as Michael Jordan, though?
That's facts. I'm a Kobe fanatic, but he's not. And I don't like the idea that when people say Jordan was a carbon copy of Michael. And I go back to the basics. What year? What year? Right? Kobe never looked like the 80s Jordan. He didn't move like him. He didn't have the speed, the athleticism as Michael Jordan in the 80s, nor in the 90s. Right? Mike, he was athletic for, a high school kid, right? But a 38-inch vertical is still a 38-inch vertical, right? Right? You're talking about 48. That's two different jumping styles. Let's just put that there, right? There's two different styles of jumping, two different styles of moving in the air. So they can never look like each other. So what Kobe looked like Michael Jordan? What Michael Jordan? It's 24 Kobe that looked like three-peat, the second three-peat Jordan. The fadeaway, the tongue out, right? That's the older Michael Jordan. That's 31, 32, 33. You can't say, though, this little frame of Michael Jordan that Kobe used is he looks like Michael Jordan. There's 4 parts of a dude. He's one part of 4. That's not a carbon copy.
well, on your show, you debated if Carmelo could have been better than LeBron.
Yeah, because they was using rings? Said if he went to Detroit Pistons?
If Carmelo,
They said it was basically if Carmelo went to the Pistons and won championships, would he be as big? And I'm saying, well, you have to, if you're gonna give him something, you have to take something away. Well, when he was a rookie, he averaged this. He would have been coming off the bench behind Tayshaun Prince, and then Larry Brown didn't play rookies. He didn't like young guys, right? So we don't know when Melo would have got to actually taste the court with some real menace. So he could have been a Darko in a situation. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have been, but he could have been. And he wouldn't have been the Carmelo scoring guy that we know today. He might be, he might have some championships under the name, but would he be that lead dog scorer? We don't know. But you got to take something away. But LeBron is LeBron. There's no.
well, you have seen situations, though, where LeBron carried the Cavs on his back.
Yeah.
Remember when he left? They had like the worst record of any team in the NBA
Yeah.
with one player gone, essentially.
Just him?
Just him.
Yeah.
Carmelo didn't really carry the Knicks in the same way. Right?
Yeah.
I know Carmelo doesn't like me over some comments about a side baby way back in the day. He sent me an angry DM. This has nothing to do with that. I'm not tripping. You know what I mean? I put stuff out there. People react how they're going to react. But if that was the case, the Knicks would have had a better record. Right?
Okay, Carmelo was a scorer. Fucking great one at that.
Yeah.
Right? Now, with him being a scorer, you have to now build a team around him and his scoring.
They never did.
Right? And they never did. Right? Now, with LeBron, it's very different. He's all purpose. Right? Now, just like anything that's all purpose, you can put different pieces and this person can adjust to it, right? To make it fit. So if I pick, let's say, Carmelo, he's my primary scorer. Now I have to figure out what's going to fit around. With LeBron, I can get LeBron, and then I can say, so if I get Melo, I can't get a Kobe probably, right? They might clash about the ball. If I get LeBron, I can get a Kobe.
I see what you're saying.
Ah, shit, I can get a Melo.
Yeah.
Because he can defer. He'll defer because he has other skills that he can use. And that's just like in the music industry, a guy who's multi-talented doing different things, you can never box him in. Right? He can sing, he can rap, he can produce, he can write, right? He can play instruments. That becomes a fucking he's damn near a god in a sense.
Yeah,
because
like
he's not stuck. He's
like
not
a Kanye.
You can't stick him with something.
Right.
Because even though you cancel Kanye music, he can go write for somebody else. He can go produce for somebody else. And you're not gonna fucking cancel the new person, right?
True.
And that's just that's how LeBron is.
Right.
So, it's easier for LeBron to carry teams because you can put him with anybody and he can adjust his skill level to make the team work better.
Well, speaking of that, some of my members had some pretty interesting questions for you. Matt Bensfield said, who's the best player at each position in the NBA today?
Today.
That's a hell of a question, I feel.
Yep. Because you have unicorns in positions where, like you have Luka at the point guard where he can be a 1, 2, or 3, right? So, you're talking about the best point guard today, it's Luka or Curry.
Okay, pick one.
Is this today or totality?
Today, right now. July 7th, 2024.
I'm going to go with Curry.
Curry.
Yeah, because...
Curry for the point guard. That's one position. Let's keep going.
Okay. Shooting guard, the best shooting guard in the NBA today. It's either Ant-Man or Devin Booker. Shit, I love some Devin Booker. I'm gonna go with my Adidas brethren. I'm gonna go with Devin Booker.
Okay, that's 2 positions. 3 more.
Small forward. Okay, now this is bad because we don't know what position. Because they play him out of position, Kevin Durant and LeBron James.
So who?
Which position are they in? Right? So is LeBron James the 4? He's been the 4, right? Or the 3? I mean, what is he?
You have to decide. You're putting together your top 5 here. You're putting together your ultimate dream team right now.
See, but the problem is I would cheat just to save face. I would go Kevin Durant at the 3, LeBron at the 4. Just so I can cheat and get both of them in there.
Okay.
Right? You know what I mean?
So you got one more.
And then for the 5, I would go with Embiid.
Okay, Joel Embiid.
But
okay.
if I had to go a real 4 because Kevin Durant and LeBron James are both 3s, I would say I don't like that 3. So 4, I will go with Giannis at 4.
So Jokic isn't on your list?
Giannis at the 4 and Embiid at the 5.
Okay, so Jokic isn't on your list.
He's going against Embiid.
Yeah.
Right? But if I had to... Now if I'm drafting... Now, see, this is different. If I'm drafting a player, I would draft Jokic over Embiid.
What's the difference? I don't understand.
Embiid, score.
No, what do you mean by... What's the difference between drafting and picking?
Very different. Right? Like the better player, when the better player of the 2 in that position is Embiid. Okay. Right? He's more dominant. As a when they're matching up, when they play against each other, like one is more dominant. Now, drafting, when I'm building a team, one has an attribute the other one doesn't have, and that's the skills of passing. Right? So what happens is Embiid averages 34, Jokic averages 26. That's an 8-point gap. But Jokic just makes it up in passing the ball. So now if I go with Jokic, I can get at least 26 and 12. But these 9 assists, right, he's going to put me at the total in total 60-something points. So out of this guy, I get 60-something points in overall ability.
Okay, so Ja Morant isn't on your list at all.
Ja, upcoming, yeah.
But not there yet.
Not there yet.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not there yet. But
It's a hell of a five, though.
Yeah, he's coming. He's
no
not.
one's
He's
beating
he's
this
not
team.
there
Let me
yet.
tell you, you actually managed to assemble this team.
Yeah.
They're going all the way to the finals.
Like, but that doesn't.
Well,
my top,
actually, let's see. Kyrie's not on the team.
my top 5 and who I would draft is very different.
Fair
I'm
enough.
drafting for like it's like car parts, right? You're picking what makes it go, right? So I'm not gonna pick the best. Like, so if I pick, let's say, if I have Jokic at the 4, or like if I have Embiid at the 5, that means my 4 can't be Giannis.
Okay. I get
Right?
it.
Or
Okay.
it could, because he can
I get
dive and all that. It has to be somebody that can compare with him, right? They play the opposite. So one has the ball in. So I could pick Giannis with Embiid, and I can pick Giannis with Jokic, because he can backdoor pass, duck in. So, either I'm going to go Giannis and Embiid or Giannis and Jokic. And I work great with those. And then from there, it's building out the other ones.
Well, here's another member question from Dom Cleats, 6304. He said, what's the best era of the NBA and why?
The best era?
Best era.
The best eras basically for me when I played in it, right? So from 2000 from 2001 to 2010, 11 is the best era for me. But just like anybody, it's going to be the era that what made you fall in love with it, right? So most people will say the 80s, because the 80s is the reason the 80s is like a golden era, because that's when you first seen it on TV, right? It's when your eyes first seen what the NBA was live or pre-recorded and put on. So, everything is judged off of that. So, the NBA is softer compared to the 80s. Well, if you ask the players in the 70s, the 80s was soft to them, right? And just a bunch of weak dudes, they do this, because they got the clothesline and beat you up and do all this and nothing happened. $25 fine, you guys are weak, and that's how they use it. So, every era gets softer to the era before it. So my era is, I'll say the 2000s. And I like that era because whoever you consider the great within the last 50 years is going to be Michael Jordan, Kobe, or LeBron. I got to play against all of them.
Well,
they're damn near the top 5.
Yeah.
Top 5 ever, right? I got to be in that, right? Tim Duncan, right? Shaquille, right? Magic. I got to play against Magic when I was growing up at what's the name? I got to all the shooting guards, AI. I played against Jordan, played against Kobe, AI, Dwayne Wade, Vince, you know what I mean? So I felt that I got to touch a lot of talent and play against it.
You've been asked this before. I think it was on All the Smoke. Do you consider yourself the greatest wizard ever?
The greatest wizard ever? No.
Remember, you compared yourself. Well, not compared yourself, but you said there's also John Wall, of course.
John Wall, yeah, see, this is before he left, but there's John Wall, there's Bradley Beal, but there's Will Unseld who won a championship, who brought a championship to the city. I didn't get a chance to do that, I got us out of a drought. I consider myself, I don't consider myself like a one-hit wonder of a talent there, but I consider myself that when I came, I was what the city needed in that moment of time. They just got out of the Jordan bashing. It didn't look like they were going to get any stars for a long time. And then I came out of the woodworks and, put the city on my back, and they embraced me for it. So, I got to enjoy the time I had there. But, when it comes as the greatest wizard, nah.
Did you hear what Ari Spears said about you in our last interview?
No.
Let me play it for you. Just like Jordan when he was in the Wizards.
Even though Jordan still averaged over 20 points a game and still was damn near just as nice as some of the top players at that time.
Not Kobe. There's the whole story.
I know, but you're talking about the guy
but this is what I'm saying.
Studied Jordan's blueprint.
Exactly.
That's Kobe's a phenom.
There's a whole story behind that.
But
There's a whole story. I remember Gilbert Arenas told me this story.
I love Gilbert Arenas, but fuck that nigga. Gilbert Arenas changes fucking opinions like the weather. 1 minute this nigga leans this way, then he leans that way. There's certain niggas that talk on the NBA who from the NBA who should shut the fuck up.
You heard that before?
No, that's the first time.
That's the first I hear it. Do you feel like you change opinions like the weather?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you admit to it.
Yeah. But that should be normal. That you get to change your opinions off of what somebody does, right? And he's a Jordan fan, right?
Yes, 100%.
And sometimes I'm a Jordan fan too. And I said I was a Kobe fan. I'm a LeBron fan. I'm a greats fan. But that's what makes me, I guess, fair weathery, right? That I change my opinion off of new things that happen, right? I'm not stuck. And some people are stuck in times, which is, I call it sad. And the reason I say it's sad is you don't even get to enjoy the game the way it is. You're stuck in a time. It's no longer here. So you're not enjoying the people that are playing today. You're stuck.
Yeah.
And if you can't enjoy today,
That's true.
today is being played, right? The LeBron versus Michael Jordan thing, they never played against each other. So how do you hate LeBron if you're a Jordan fan? How do you even hate the dude? Like, if you're a Jordan fan, then how would you hate the person? It wouldn't even make sense.
Yeah, it's like people who listen to 90s hip hop and then that's it.
Yeah.
90s is the golden era. It is. But there's great music that's been coming out in the 2020s.
You gotta, you just still update your palette. You can't keep it in fucking the 90s.
I agree.
Right?
I try to listen to everything new. I can't just be stuck in old music. Just like people shouldn't be stuck in old basketball.
But that's what it is. It's stuck in a time where I don't even say most people today are not basketball fans. They're player fans. They're just fan of a player, right? I like Michael Jordan. Okay, cool. What team do you like? Oh, I don't have a team.
The Bulls.
They don't even have a fucking Larry like the Bulls. It's Michael Jordan. I like Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
So it's like, you don't have a team? No. Like Michael Jordan, he don't even play anymore. So who do you like now? Oh, this era's soft.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
Is that? So you don't even watch basketball. You don't even watch basketball anymore, basically, because today's era is soft. So when I sit there and listen to people talk, all I hear is, you're not basketball fans. You're just anti-LeBron fan. You're just anti-LeBron. That's all this is. You're just anti-LeBron because he's being compared to Michael Jordan. I had a group of people who are Jordan fans who said, it's like, who's your number 1, 2, and 3? So I said, all right, LeBron. I said, Jordan's number 1, LeBron's number 2, Kobe's 3. Instead of them saying, oh my God, yeah, you got Michael Jordan 1. They said, why do you have LeBron number 2? Why is he so close to Jordan? I said,
because he's number 2.
He's number 2. Like,
Yeah.
it goes 1, then it goes 2,
Yes.
right? And then it goes 3. It's like, well, why is he number 2? The guy who owns the scoring title, 4 championships, he can't be 2? Then who's your number 2? Then who's your 2? Well, I don't need to tell you my 2. No. Now I want to know who your 2.
Number 1, nobody, and then a number 3.
Now I want to know your number 2 because if LeBron is not your number 2, I need to see who's number 2 so I can say, why is he close to Jordan? Right? What the fuck is he close to Jordan for? Because if LeBron's not, and who else? Kobe? Who's your 2? Because even if number 2 is number 2, but Jordan can be 100, number 2 can be 90. He's number 2, but it's not close.
Yeah.
If that's what you want to do. I don't give a fuck what you want to do. You can say he's 200, he's 90. If 2 starts at 90, God damn it, it's 2. But I just realized they're just more LeBron hating than it is. I said, you guys are not Jordan fans. You're just anti-LeBron fans. That's what this is. It's not Jordan. Because a real Jordan fan, if you really believe Jordan is the best player to ever touch this earth, then you wouldn't give two shits who's number 2. Because they're irrelevant to Michael Jordan, right? Usain Bolt is number 1, right? He's the fastest man in the world, right?
It's a good
Who's
point.
the second fastest?
It's a good
no
point.
one gives a shit.
So let me ask you a question, and you can answer this better than most people. Who do you think got the most hate in their prime? Jordan, Kobe, or LeBron?
Okay, let's take Jordan out, right? Because Jordan didn't get no hate.
So he didn't get any hate?
No.
Really?
No.
Everyone, well, Detroit, I'm sure hated him, but I mean,
the person who got the most hate will.
You see, I don't remember Jordan. I was a little too young to remember it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
probably. I mean, Kobe got his fair share.
So who's the most hated player in the NBA of all time? Is it LeBron?
All time between them 3?
Well, no, let's just say period. The most overall hated.
I can't say LeBron is hated, right? LeBron is not. I mean, you can't be number 1 in votes and number 1 in jersey sales every year if you're hated.
You
right?
could.
Nah.
People hate Drake and people love him at the same time.
No, but nobody hates Drake. You just dislike him today, right? Because it's popular. It's popular to dislike. This is what I mean by hate.
Well, I'll say it like this. I just looked up the list, the most hated NBA players of all time on clutchpoints.com. Number 1 is LeBron.
It's not real, though.
Number 2 is Kevin Durant. Number 3 is Bill Laimbeer.
Okay, but now...
Vince Carter is 4. Isaiah Thomas is 5. Bruce Bowen is 6. Latrell Sprewell is 7.
Yeah, see, so
Chris Paul is 8. James Harden is 9. And Reggie Miller is 10.
So you can't hate somebody for being great, right? That just doesn't work, right? LeBron is 40,000. You don't hate him because, like, some of those guys are hated because they're just dirty players. You can't hate the guy who got 4
Bill
rings.
Laimbeer,
right? You know what I mean? So
right.
you got him in the same category. It makes no sense. Like baseball, we hate Barry Bonds. That makes sense, right? that just doesn't make sense. It's just cool to do it. It's cool right now to go on YouTube and bash LeBron James because it gets you a bunch of views. You don't hate. That's why I say these people aren't fans of Michael Jordan or fans of Kobe. They're just anti-LeBron fans, which means your whole page is to talk shit about him. A real Jordan fan does not give 2 shits about LeBron James or Kobe. It's all Michael Jordan. I love Michael. Michael does this. Happy Wednesday, Michael Jordan. Happy Monday, Michael Jordan. June, all Jordan. Whatever, it's all Jordan. You don't even mention the other person because I can tell you one thing. If the world tomorrow says LeBron James is the best that ever do it, I know one group of people who won't be mentioning Michael Jordan anymore. LeBron fans. They won't be saying, Michael Jordan's number 2. No, Michael Jordan's number 2. LeBron's number 1. We don't need to talk anymore. Right? So the fact that Michael Jordan fans are even mentioning LeBron means, are you that afraid that he's getting close? Because if you don't think he's close, then you wouldn't even mention the man. That's what I'm saying. I try to say, Usain Bolt is the fastest man in the world. I don't see Usain Bolt fans talking about who are the fuck is number 2.
Yeah.
Because we don't care. They don't know. Who's number 2? It don't matter. They're not being mentioned. But I guarantee you, if you put number 2 in front of Usain Bolt, there's going to be a bunch of Usain Bolt fans saying they're going to be talking shit, right? And that's what it seems like. It seems like somehow in the Jordan fans, they feel like somehow LeBron eclipsed them for them to even be talking about this. Because if it wasn't a contest, you wouldn't even mention the dude. You just keep going about Happy Michael Jordan fucking Mondays. I don't even see that anymore.
Well, but there's no clear player that just dominates the stats over a Jordan. That's the problem. See, it gets fuzzy. If there's someone who had 10 rings, you know what I'm saying, and stayed with the same team
Bill
and
Russell?
Dominated the whole time.
Bill Russell?
Yeah, but
count.
then
you see that? We don't.
there's the asterisk of a different era.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
that's what I'm saying,
saying?
don't count.
But
Yeah,
someone
but-
in the modern era, if someone from this point on was able, you know what I'm saying? You can't, the Bill Russell era meant that most of the players worked jobs when they weren't playing in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Very few black people. It wasn't international, et cetera. There was way less money.
Way less money. There was
You know,
rules.
people would go,
There was no free agents.
Yeah.
There was
You know, like what's interesting, I remember I had Marcellus Wiley on my show, and he's a former professional football player, and he said, point blank, he said every professional athlete wanted to be a basketball player first. And when it didn't work out, they would choose their plan B, whether that's football or baseball or, sometimes soccer in the U.S., outside, obviously it's different,
Yeah.
In other countries. But yeah, everyone loves to be a basketball player in this era, but this wasn't always the case.
Mm-hmm.
In the 60s, not everyone wanted to be a basketball player.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So you didn't have the talent that would go into the sport. So, yeah, if someone came in,
Can't.
it could happen.
No. The way the rules are today, no one would have what Jordan has.
There could be someone,
ever.
a
No.
human being.
No.
Like, for example, Jordan wasn't that tall comparatively.
6'6".
6'6".
Mm-hmm.
You look at a Wemby, for example, who was 7'2".
7'3", 7'2", 7'4".
7'3", yeah,
One of- he's just
7'4".
seven.
It's 7'4", right? Wait, hold on. Let's look at Wemby.
He's 7. The Google ain't gonna get it to you. He's tall as hell.
Google says 7'4".
Uh-huh.
Who's very athletic at a 7'4". Like, imagine if he really gets into his stride and really levels up.
Mm-hmm.
He could dominate on a level that no one's ever seen just because of the height, along with athleticism. I'm not saying he's going to do it, but he potentially could end up getting 10 rings. He's still very young, early in the league. Like, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can get 10.
Where you could shut down the conversation. It's like, well, he's no Wemby. 6 rings, that was cool when Jordan was doing it, but he got 10 rings.
That's not how it works, right? And it's the delusion of how we get to play with Jordan's stats, right? Remember, as an individual, Jordan... See, and this is the problem with why it's a pointless argument with, like, talking about Michael Jordan, talking about who can be the next Michael Jordan, is because he has stats that you can never accomplish, and today's media will never let you do it. See, when Michael Jordan was turning into Michael Jordan from his 80s, 84 to 90, he wasn't bashed for scoring titles and putting up just pointless points, right? So he got to do things that today's game is not allowed to do. See, if you like Luka, right? You're already rumbling, oh, Luka's not this, right? If Luka keeps going and averaging triple doubles but not winning for at least 6 years, can't do that in today's game, right? They're gonna already bash you and your legacy is bullshit already out of the gate. So no one's gonna be able to get the scoring titles like Michael Jordan, the MVPs like Michael Jordan as an individual, and then when he's 27, 28, 29, win championships as in right now, people's legacy right now is them taken away at 23, 24, 25. You lose, it's pointless stat. And you've already dismissed. When I got to come into, Michael Jordan had 19,000 points before 90. Right? He's 19,000 points before 1990, before a championship. So that's 19,000 points of pointless stats that's not considered pointless back then. Then when he matured and his team was in a position to win, yes, they fucking went on a run. That don't happen today. Tatum legacy was already, he's 26. It was already dirtied. Oh, he's a loser. He can't do this. He can't do that. Hey, Michael Jordan wasn't even in the same category. He wasn't at the NBA finals. He wasn't, but you see the pressure that is put on today. So the legacy will never be touched because we're not giving you the rope that was given then.
Well, you said the NBA loves to lie about their best players.
Yeah, of course.
Explain.
What area you want to go to?
Current.
Okay, so current. When we say lie, we're talking about it's a business. This is a business first, right? Everything is business first, entertainment, right? So, if I have a star player, okay, who's the best players in the league, right? MVPs. Jokic, Embiid, right? Jokic got 3 MVPs. He can't crack the top 8 in jersey sales. Shoes, Nike didn't touch him. Adidas didn't touch him. No big shoe company touched him.
He doesn't have a shoe?
He had to go some outside company, something 360. I don't know what the fuck.
Really?
Yeah. Right?
Well, why would Nike and Adidas not give this guy a shoe?
Can you sell him?
Why wouldn't you?
Can you sell his personality?
Yeah, you're right. There's that.
How many 8-year-olds are in the basketball court trying to be Jokic? No, same thing with him. Same thing with Embiid. Just big guys. It's just hard to sell because the customer is from the ages of basically 4 to about 17.
No, you're right. I mean,
the size of those guys can't even fathom how tall you are.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, Shaq didn't really sell a lot of shoes.
No.
He had to go start his own shoe company at one point.
Yeah, and he had Payless shoes. He had to move through Payless shoes. They make it really cheap, so it's cheaper to get. Like it's affordable for the poor kids.
No, that's true. Wait, so do big men never get their own popular shoe? Is this really a thing?
Giannis,
I never thought about it.
Giannis's style kind of helps him sell shoes, but for the most part, big men never sell shoes.
Yeah, I mean, Yao Ming, I'm sure, sold a lot of shoes in China. No?
Tracy McGrady's the guard. It's his teammate. It's a teammate. It's a like. Think about when I'm buying shoes for my kids. Think about this size, this size, right? They're guards. They think they're guards. It don't matter how tall they're gonna be in the field. But when I'm buying shoes, they're buying the John Morants, the Currys. It's guard because that's who they are. They're little people thinking. So when you're talking about lying, you're really talking about size. You know, if you got a guy who can sell shoes and he's sitting about 6'10", 6'11", you're gonna say 6'8". Oh, 6'8". You know, because 6'8", 6'5", you're gonna keep it in so it doesn't look too tall for people, right? You know, you're gonna put an image out there that's sellable.
No, you're right. I mean, Allen Iverson shoes were selling off the shelves. You're right. Like, he's a smaller guy.
Even with the argument with the Jordan stats in 87, 88 was they was being fixed by the home stat team. Okay. Yeah, this sounds like every fucking home arena. It's the home arena. What do you like? What is in a like if me and you are keeping stats on basketball, we can watch the same game. A rebound, for the most part, we're gonna get the points right. Right? We might be off one. We fuck around, look here. We've got a fucking rebounding might be a little bit off. Mm-hmm. Assist is gonna be off.
Yeah.
And steals and deflections are gonna be off.
Yeah.
Right? Because we're looking at it with different mindsets. Right? What is an assist to you versus what an assist to me is. Right? So our stats is gonna be skewed. So the home team is gonna be a little lenient for you versus a road team. Right? The home team, shit, I pass you the ball. They might give you 6 dribbles and be like, that was an assist. Versus the road team, shit, if you don't score within the first 2 dribbles, no assists. So what they're arguing about Jordan, that's everybody though. You know what I mean? That's everybody you can think of. If you look at Magic Johnson assist record at home or assists versus home and versus road, it's fucking gonna be different. Just like anybody in the NBA. It's just different.
Well, Big Baby is going to prison. 3 years. Sebastian Telfair was sort of caught up in the similar case, but his thing is like, he has to just give his money back and that's that. But I remember when I interviewed Big Baby and I mentioned the case, he started singing the Young Thug song. Take that shit to motherfucking trial. And it went to trial and he lost. Are you surprised?
Why didn't he get a chance to pay back the money? Because he went to trial?
I'm not sure. About that.
To be honest,
we were supposed to do an interview and he ended up canceling. And I think he's just kind of going through it right now. He's not a jail guy. You know what I'm saying?
Of course. I mean, his personality, man. It's like what was the intent? Like that's just it. Everything is not black and white. It's it got to be a little bit gray, especially in a court of law. If everybody else got a chance to pay the money back, he should have had a chance to pay the money back. Even if he decided to go to trial, it don't matter. Everybody else got a chance to pay the money back. But my question is this, I know, like I didn't really pay attention to, none of it I understand the concept because it affects us today, right? You know, we have all this money on our insurance card, and, you know, we need therapy. We need, you know, we get to use the money that we put on there, and the NBA matched it and all that. We get to use it for, you know, surgeries and stuff today. Now, what if a guy like him don't need it? He can't get his money out? I think that's he can't get his money out. I mean, some of that money is, I think it's his too, that he had to put away. So why can't he get some of that out? Right? You know, those are just logistic things that, you know, that should be answered. Because a guy who's never had surgeries and you got $600,000 of insurance in there and he's sitting there like, what the fuck is this for? What?
Yeah, I mean, he got 40 months in prison plus 3 years supervised release. 22 people were sentenced, 18 of them former players, including Terrence Williams and Keon Dooling. And they're basically saying they were filing false medical claims with the NBA players' health and benefit welfare plan.
Yeah.
He also has to pay $80,000 restitution. I don't know if this was the case. I think he may have pleaded out.
So
I don't think this went to trial. Yeah, I mean,
so he has to pay back the money and he go to jail?
Yes.
That's called bad lawyering. Because if I got to pay, well, why can't I just pay the $80,000 back? Why I got to go sit in jail for somebody I can just give back?
No, actually, he did go to trial. No, he was. No, I'm sorry. I'm not sure. This is a convoluted story.
Doesn't matter.
This is really convoluted.
I spent $80,000 here. I'm putting it back on the card, which goes back to me any fucking way. Right? It goes back to me anyway, and now I'm going to use it for some real surgery. Like it's one of those things. Like when the players get in trouble, I'm in the middle of it. It's like, nah, I can see why, but I know it's illegal. Like I'm one of those, right? It's illegal. You don't supposed to do it, but I get it, right? You don't need it. You don't need any help. You don't need any new knees and all new hips and shit. So yeah, you should be allowed to get your money back. I get it.
Hey, man, I've always said this, like, professional sports players really, it's a very interesting path because unless you're like a LeBron who has this long career, you're done in your 20s or 30s with a lot of life left. I remember when I had Nick Young on my show recently, he said he was depressed for 4 years.
Hell yeah.
So basically what it meant was our first interview, he was still going through depression.
Yeah.
He said he just recently kind of snapped out of it. And you went through the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, not everyone goes through it. I mean, Sebastian Telfair said he was happy to get out of the NBA, you know, it was whatever, but...
He might be, but these rants, I don't even call them rants. His truth and his outbursts a little bit, those might be part of his depression. He don't know until he gets out of it and be like, damn, I was probably depressed right here. Right? It's we don't know it until we get out of it. Then we know, like, okay, I was depressed then.
Yeah, no, I couldn't imagine, I don't know, doing interviews for 5 years and finally getting into my groove and then being told, okay, you got to retire now. There's a new younger guy that's going to take over your job, and now you got to figure out how to do something completely different without a real
no skill,
with no skills, a whole new path. And not everyone was in your position where you actually had a financial base.
The financial base is meaningless.
Not totally.
It is.
Not totally.
No.
If you were broke,
easier.
when you retired,
it's easier.
I think you'd be more depressed.
It's easier. Because reality is not, what I mean is not easier in a sense
Definitely
of
not
mentally it's easier because if you're broke, your brain is already registered that you're gonna be back in whatever, right? When you have a lot of money and nothing to do and no skill, the skill you have, you can never use it again. What do you do with your money? You're not a fucking businessman. You don't know nothing. You want me to tell you what you do? You take your ass down to fucking Vegas. You gamble because you're trying to get excited. Fucking sitting here at house party poker games, fucking doing lines off fucking 21-year-olds assholes and shit like that. That's all you fucking do, right? It's like you're sitting there trying to be busy. And the worst thing you want when you're trying to figure out how to be busy is fucking money. Because all you're going to do is spend it. How many times are you going to go to the mall and buy watches and buy cars, right? You go broker faster. That's all that happens.
Yes.
The money, that's what I said, the money's meaningless because you don't use it how you were supposed to use it when you are in the NBA investing. You use it for destruction.
I think that what you went through was a whole lot easier than what Joe Smith went through. Joe Smith was literally in the negative a couple years after the NBA. After going through divorce and, buying homes that he took losses on, essentially having no money by the end.
By the end? I asked him, did he have a drug habit or a gambling habit when he was done? Probably not. Right? Is from there is trying to figure out.
Did you have a drug habit or a gambling habit?
No.
Okay,
no.
so
I got into gambling a little bit. Not a habit, but I got into it, which I never did when I played.
Well, on the plane you did. Not totally true. But that was someone who knows you.
But that was $1,100, right? Right? Like here you're trying to sit there and play because it's the competition. So when you're talking about an athlete, the only thing that's competition that mimics that is gambling. Right? That's why it's such a close thing. So when you don't have the sport anymore, all you're left with is the what? The bad habit. Right? So them 4 years is really it takes like now he found his purpose. And I can tell you what probably changed him. Probably the big three. Right? I put him on a team. He was a player. And then, last year I had to go to my daughter's games. Because it was like a very important time for her in recruiting, and I wanted to show the support. And then I let him be the coach. And I think him coaching and being involved and doing all that, I think it kind of like, I like this. This is what I like. And once you figure out this is what you can do, he has a purpose now. So now it's coaching the big three, podcasting now. I tell everybody, man, athletes, when you're done, podcast, dog.
Yeah.
Because you get the, it's therapy.
I mean, yeah, if I think about how many former athletes I have gotten on my show that then went on to do their own thing, John Sally, Sebastian Telfair, I think you were on my show before you started doing, your own. There's probably more I'm just not thinking about right now. But I've always encouraged them to do their own thing. Nick Young, I had him on my show. Now he's doing his own thing. Like, yeah. And I'm always like, yo, you should do it.
It's more of the therapy, man. You interview each other, interview other people. You get to talk and
you have the
tell your
connections
stories.
already.
Yeah, you get to. It's just speaking. You get to tell your stories, and you know what I mean. It's just one of those things. It's fun.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's a lot more competition for me. Listen, everyone has a podcast now. And I have to compete for the same guests. If I call an NBA player and Paul George calls him in the same day to both do a podcast, who are they going to go with?
The elite is the elite, though. Right? The cream is always the cream. It don't change.
No, that's true.
Right? You know what I mean? So
yeah, we have a following and we'll always maintain a following to a certain degree. And that's because we've been doing it for so long.
If anybody is trying to build and trying to go anywhere, they need to go through certain streets anyway. And the VladTV is a street, goddammit, right? It is. Same thing with Stephen A. Smith and all that. Yeah. It's a street. I don't give a shit if you try to go around. You got to go through the street if you want to go to the next level. They're at the next level. So no matter how many podcasts come and all that, like I tell people all the time, yo, I don't fear none of you. Right? Yeah. For me, I'm like, oh, what about the podcast? Oh, I ain't really like that. Nah, yeah, I make this. This is what I can get. This is what you can get. This is like I want you to jump in. Like I like the battle, right? I know you guys can't compete with me because we don't have the same mind. I'm gonna do things that you just can't do.
No, right. And I get what you're saying, and I agree with you to a certain degree, but I remember a time, let's say 10 years ago, when I would reach out to people for an interview, and they wouldn't be getting very many interview requests. There was only me and a couple other people, so they weren't being pulled in that many directions. I think about now, the people I reach out to, I think about how many other interview requests they have because there's so many other podcasts.
Yeah, I get that part.
That 10 years ago they would have done a VladTV, but now it's like,
yeah, I can go somewhere else.
I could go with someone that maybe I feel a little more comfortable with because there's so many more options. I'm going to go with someone that's in the same field as me, or maybe a rapper who I like. You know what I mean? YG has a podcast.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, Paul George has a podcast. You have a podcast. Nick Young has a podcast. You know, ultimately, you know, if there's a certain player that I want to, you know, they're like, well, no, I already know. I played with, you know, Gilbert. I'll just go with him.
Yeah, but see, just like mine, Nick Young is, I understand the same thing that you're saying. How many times can one person do an interview, right? We're pulling from the same sources. So when I created, you know, Gil's Arena, I treated it just like TNT, Charles Barkley now. It's gonna be the four of us. We are the guest, right? We're gonna be the guest, right? We're gonna build our stable for us. We're not relying on a guest. It's our personalities got to carry. And if we do get a guest, it's just a one-off. Once a month, once every 2 months. But for the most part, they're coming to see us.
Right, like Rich Paul.
Yeah. So we don't, you know, and that's like pre-recorded and stuff like that. So, you know, 1% is interviewing, right? From there is just our personalities. And I say it lasts longer. Because sometimes, you know, guests can hurt your platform. Let's just say you wasn't expecting him to be as good as he was. Now your next guest got to compete with him, right? And then it becomes this, you know, this.
Yeah.
Now you're doing this stepping stone and who you want first and who you want this, and it becomes more fucking chess playing than before. It was like I can get this guest, this guy's gonna go, and now it's, you know, if I'm going back to traditional, and someone says, all right, give me your top 10 guests you want. I gotta really think about who I want. I can't say, all right, I want The Rock first. Oh, that might be a podcast killer. Who comes after The Rock? You know what I mean? Who comes after the fucking Rock? Kevin Hart? Then who comes after him? Will Smith? Then who comes after him? Right? Now I'm just, you know what I mean? But when I'm sitting with a thing, then eventually it has to tell off.
No, listen, you're in a better position. Like, you know, me and Joe Budden have had our differences, but I applaud the fact that he's one of the few podcasts in hip hop that have put together his own group of people, and the show relies on him, really him, and the people he chooses to sit in that chair. And that's a revolving chair. At one point, Rory Mal were in those chairs, and now it's Queen's Flip and, you know, Melissa and, you know, whoever else. You know, for me, I've always been behind the camera, but I learned early on that if I'm always relying on a new guest every day, it's not going to work. So that's why I built up a big group of repeat guests, one of which is you.
Me.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You, John Sally, TK Kirkland, Boosie, of course, BG Knockout, 1090 Jake, Whack 100 now is a regular guest. Tony Yayo has been a big success. And it's like, yeah, these guys here, I'll pay them to be on. I'm not going to keep asking for favors. I'll pay them to be on, and I'll be able to rotate them all the time. So there's like, you know, the familiarity with our audience, but it's also me involved in it. Yeah, so it's a different approach, but it's similar.
It's a different approach, but it's similar.
It's similar, right. If I had to be like a Drink Champs where every time I had to get someone completely brand new, it'd be a much harder sell. And you could tell by the amount of content I do in Drink Champs, like I just do more interviews than they do.
Yeah, it's a there's what, once a week
Probably,
traditional. Yeah, but
Yeah, I could do 5 interviews in a week.
but as if they
Yeah.
can't get a guest at time, it kind of throws off the and I had that where you're sitting there, these guests say yeah, and then they falter.
I've had people fall through.
Yeah, and
like Lamar Odom, who I mentioned last time.
Yeah.
3 different occasions, 3 last-minute cancellations.
So
It's catastrophic to the business when that happens.
And that's why you have to, and that's what I understood because I was on that side already doing interviews.
Yeah.
And I can see how hard it is where, 2 weeks we didn't get the drop because we didn't get no interviews. Now we got to do hot takes and it's just me, right? And then I started saying, why don't we just do the hot takes for the most part?
Yeah.
And then we get interviews, and then when we get interviews, just try to get like 4 or 5 and bank them and then push those out. And then from there, it's like, now I got to create a bulletproof plan, and this was the bulletproof plan.
Man, listen, congrats, because I've seen so many of my guests try to start podcasts, and they'll get 2, 3, 4, 10 episodes in, and then they just give up because the money's not there, and they're used to being compensated for their time.
And now their time is free.
And now their time is free. And starting from the bottom, without a big sponsor, without a structure, you got to worry about filming and editing and whatever else. You now have to be a boss. I've seen it over and over and over again. And the fact that you pulled off what you pulled through, what you pulled off, extremely impressive.
Because I understood the difference, right? If I'm going to start podcasting, I got to start as a 9-year-old.
Yeah.
I can't start as an NBA player.
Yeah.
Right? I can't start Gilbert Arenas, the NBA player, because then I'm 10 days in and saying, oh man, the numbers ain't here, no one's following. If I'm starting from as a 9-year-old mindset,
with 0 subscribers,
9, that means I got 9 years before I'm professional. So when I get to year 9, how good am I?
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah. No, I've been doing it for 16 years now.
Yep.
Full time, every day, no days off. New content, 365 days a year, catalog, the whole 9, relationships, being able to pull flashback content, cutbacks, all that. It's all a big snowball, and it doesn't happen overnight.
But if you're not ready to put yourself in that situation, let everybody know how to be successful, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And,
but if you talk about, I think, was it you that mentioned this, where like professional athletes will have a 5-10-year plan. They'll start in junior high and they'll be preparing to go to the NBA and they'll work year after year after year. But then their NBA career will end and they'll expect some new venture to pop off after 6 months.
Yeah.
And they get frustrated when it doesn't. But it's like, well, you just worked 10 years to get to the highest level. Why do you think this is going to be any different? In fact, it's a little bit easier.
A little bit easier.
It's a little bit easier than being a junior high kid going to the NBA. Being an ex-NBA athlete and trying to build a podcast is way easier, but it's not easy.
It's not easy.
It's just easier, but it's not easy.
That's just Dwayne Wade is the one who made me really like focus. He was like, you're going into this media space. Don't go in as Gilbert Arenas,
Yeah.
the 3-time All-NBA player. Going as a podcaster. And Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless, the Charles Barkley, those guys are the professionals.
Yeah.
You have an advantage that they don't have. You have inside knowledge. You know how to play the game. That's where your brain is. But you need to figure out how to relay it like they do and get the experience like they do. Start from 0. And once he told me that, I now understood. See, I'm thinking I'm Gilbert Arenas, and it should, and like, no. I am Gilbert Arenas, but I need to start at the starting line.
Yeah.
Right? The finish line is wherever it is, but I got to start at the starting line, and people don't understand that. Whoever it is, they started here first.
Yeah.
Fucker, you can't just go in the middle of the race and just start. You got to register your number, AM number 0, and here's my birthday. Go. All right, now I run my race. And that's, you run your race. Nobody wants to run their race. They want to run somebody else's race. They want to look at somebody else's numbers.
That's how we're going to end it. Gilbert Arenas, man, always a pleasure when you come in, man. Congrats on your podcast. Congrats on all the other stuff you're doing, man. Congrats on your son.
All right, thank you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Big accomplishment as a parent. Till next time. Peace.
Peace.